All right, welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily on Oh So Curious. It's going to be a fun one tonight. We've got a lot to get into, as I guess we always do these days. But hey, we're going to get into it all. There's Spider-Man stuff, of course. The title, the thumbnail talks about it. Spider-Man Brand New Day might actually be going even higher than what we thought it might do at the box office. We were thinking on the high end 800 million. That might be on the low end now because the US box office numbers alone, get this, Spider-Man Brand New Day might actually be on its way to beat Avengers Endgame's US opening. So, you know, the ceiling, I don't know where the ceiling is. We'll find out over the next few days, but hey, it's very exciting. And of course, we have the news. Samara Weaving has been cast as Emma Frost. We'll talk about that. And Mahershala Ali, not only is he done with Blade, is he done with Marvel, because what he was talking about today didn't sound like things ended on a high note. So that, and of course Booster Gold, it looks like David Jenkins is now the second writer or set of writers to have left the show. What does that mean for James Gunn's flailing DCU? Does that mean there's more projects of the like Waller that's missing in action, and The Authority that never happened, and Paradise Lost that is in extreme development? Where do we go next in the DCU, that where it seems to be one step forward and two steps back of late? So to talk about that and so much more, of course, the Odyssey and all else, let's get this news intro in and we'll get the show started.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. Number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne. I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chords.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the needs now?
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Okay. All right, let's get into it, shall we? John will join us shortly, but while John makes his way into the show, yeah, I didn't even mention the Odyssey is also doing quite well, and also Spider-Man Brand New Day might have been leaked online this afternoon. I think it got taken down, but yeah, we got a lot to get into. Secret Wars as well. There's rumors going around as to whether Hulk and Spider-Man may or may not be in that movie, and then there's an update with the Warner Brothers merger as well. We'll get into briefly. So let me welcome on in some of you guys in the chat. We got Monique here. Howdy, y'all. Fantastic Friday to ya. It's dry rubbed air fried pork belly and buttered corn. That is delicious. That sounds wonderful. I just had some, a mixed platter of halal food, like over rice and veggies. It's pretty good. Didn't make it myself. Hello, Caleb. Honka honka. Join the rebellion indeed. War of the Worlds fan. Here we go. Emo Nerd Girl, thank you for coming in. And Figuring is here. My prediction was 812 million. That seems modest now, right? We were talking 800 million and we thought that was like shooting for the moon, and holy shit, we'll get into that again in a minute. And yes, Hunter Iggy, hello to you. And it is not indeed canceled. I didn't say it was canceled. It just means it's now lost its second set of writers. So going through a lot of reworks, and we'll talk about that later. Sheila, I don't know who Sheila is, Caleb, but if that's the name of your girlfriend, then good on you, man. I'm sure Sheila is doing great, or let me know if she's doing great. All right, okay. Just new names in the chat every day. That's fantastic to see. Now we got Sheila in the chat. Good to see with Caleb, Caleb's significant other. And of course, remember, we do have Fancast Friday coming up later today. The link for that is already up. Actually, if you go to the page, you can actually find the link for the Tier List Tuesday poll, or you can just go to osecures.com and go to the post section, and you can vote for your Tier List Tuesday topic there. So with that in mind, let's see what else we got in the chat. Oh, hey, MTG's here. Friday, awesome. All right, okay. Well, without further ado, let's get into the big topic of the day. Well, before we do that, we got John here. How are you doing, John?
Hello.
You had
I am
pause
here.
space
Sorry
there
for
a
the
second.
lateness. I was finishing up a call, so had to finish that up, but I'm here now. Happy Friday to everyone in the chat. I have my red shirt that's Spider-Man-esque, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where my other Spider-Man shirt is, but I'm here. That's all that matters. So,
Gotcha. Hey, Kyle is here too. Hello, Kyle. Hello from M2G there. I have to work tomorrow, but my mother is taking my kids to see Brand New Day. That's awesome. I'm going to see Brand New Day a second time tomorrow afternoon, so I'm excited about that. Hope you wash your hands, John. I don't know what that's referring to, but sure. Okay, let's.
but
I don't know what that was in reference to.
I always
don't
wash my
know what.
hands.
Yeah, of course. Crusty socks and all. Anyway, let's get on to the next part of the show. Of course, the big thing today, John, is Spider-Man Brand New Day. We're going to the weekend. Now that we're done with Friday, I mean, we thought earlier this week when we were predicting $800 million opening weekend based on the numbers we were seeing from the analysts out there. We'll go through those numbers later, what they're saying now. And 800 million sounded like, like a very optimistic opening weekend for Brand New Day worldwide. Now today, it's like, remember, going into this weekend, again, just to kind of set the foundation going into the weekend, a lot of the big outlets were saying, look, Sony themselves had predicted like 200 some odd million dollars and 195 on the low end. Sony were playing safe, and a lot of the industry out bigger outlets like Deadline and stuff, they were like, okay, 250 probably worldwide, maybe like 450 something, 500 might be optimistic, but guess what? Everybody was like, there's a chance this could be a lot bigger. Now today, Deadline, of course, is not the only outlet. We'll go through all of them, but we'll start with Deadline saying Spider-Man Brand New Day has now set an all-time first day high with 167 million plus in the United States. That includes previews and the Friday number, which could set it up to beat Avengers Endgame's $357 million opening weekend, which, by the way, Avengers Endgame's $357 million opening weekend, that is the all-time record domestically. Now, the worldwide record for Avengers Endgame was 1.2 billion. I don't know if that's quite in the offing, but yeah. Hey, Figure Dry. But yeah, like the domestic number definitely is in its sights. It's insane. It keeps getting better. It's hard to believe because I was following this all day, and we'll break it down for you guys. But for now, I'm going to start by reading off what they're saying in Deadline. Spider-Man Brand New Day is heading for an all-time record opening day, including previews between 167 to 173 million dollars. We'll know the final number for this by tomorrow, obviously. For us, we're not live on Saturday, so we'll talk about it on Monday. But that could, according to Deadline, easily kick the first day preview opening record of Avengers Endgame, which made 157.4 million on Friday, including all the previews that it did. Not to mention that in the US and Canada, Spider-Man Brand New Day is well ahead of No Way Home's preview and Friday numbers of 121.96. It's beat that number by like 50 million, and it's also beat like Avengers Endgame by another 20 million, which is huge. That is huge. I mean, that's not coming from Sony, but a lot of the industry sources are giving us these numbers because Sony was being very, very, conservative with their numbers. So, look, there are some people who are saying already this means that Avengers Endgame will get surpassed this weekend with Spider-Man Brand New Day potentially doing at the very least like 360 or more. So it's very possible considering how much of a start it's already gotten off to. But according to Deadline's estimates, they're looking at right now somewhere north of 330 million, but they're not saying it's going to get there just yet. Like it will maybe just fall short of Avengers Endgame. I don't think so. I think this movie just keeps going. And I mean, that already beats Spider-Man No Way Home, which made 260 million in its opening weekend by a long shot. So that's pretty damn big. Now remember, there's a couple of things here we have to remember. Avengers Endgame came out at a time when it had IMAX. It had IMAX, it had all the premium large formats. Brand New Day is sharing some of the premium large formats. It's got the majority of them, and it's got no IMAX. So the fact that it's doing that without IMAX and without 100% of the PLFs, because you got the Odyssey playing, that is insane. That is, to me, super impressive. And the
Yeah.
reason why they're saying this is possible it could get to 357 or higher is if you break it down. Right now, based on the estimates, just Friday alone could have brought in 95 to 100 million dollars, and then the rest of it, because remember, it made $72 million in previews, which we'll talk about later, which beat Avengers Endgame's preview record as well. So pretty much on every metric that matters, Spider-Man Brand New Day is now ahead of Avengers Endgame. So Brand New Day is beating Endgame in previews. It's at least matching it, if not beating it, on Friday numbers. And then, you know, if you add all that up, it's possible that, you know, if the weekend holds, if Saturday holds to about the same number as Friday, to about 100 million, 95 million, and then usually Sunday you would expect a slight drop off. It doesn't always happen, because with Michael, then what number went up for Sunday? With the Odyssey, the number went up for Sunday, and the Devil Wears Prada, the number actually went up for Sunday, and that's why those movies actually came out with a bigger opening weekend than going into the weekend that people predicted, because most analysts will say Sunday of the 3 days of the weekend is the slowest day for movie going. So it isn't always going to end up being that way, though. Some of these movies, people just keep going and going and going. I was just getting tickets for tomorrow, and pretty much every showing throughout the day is either sold out or almost sold out, which is wild. And I wasn't even trying to get like a big premium format screening. So it's crazy. 3D, non 3D, all of them. So yeah, now the Odyssey is doing quite well. Is going to hold for around 52 million, which would be around a 42% drop from the last week, which is insane to be able to do that in spite of Brand New Day, you know, taking up so much space. But the big thing here is, guys, the weekend that Avengers Endgame came out, because of how big that movie was, the overall the opening weekend box office for every movie combined, you know, was around $400 million. Like Avengers Endgame pretty much ate everybody's lunch, but still the overall box office was around 400 million. Now, because of the Odyssey and Brand New Day playing at the same time, they're talking about Avengers, not Spider-Man Brand New Day, the Odyssey, and Motor City, and all those movies that are playing out there. They could combine for 412 million on the high end, which would be a higher total box office this weekend than the weekend Avengers Endgame came out, which is one of the highest, you know, grossing single weekends of all time. So it's like Hollywood is back. Things are going well. I mean, superhero fatigue may be real, but Spider-Man fatigue is not, right?
Nope.
Chuck
never.
Rod, hello. If it can beat Endgame, then it can beat Doomsday. I mean, you know, hey, it's not a hot take at this point. It's not a hot take.
It's just like Spider-Man. It's like,
yeah,
Spider-Man is. Darkseid is? Nah, Spider-Man is. Like, that's... It's just Spider-Man will always... It could...
Yeah.
Like, literally, fucking Homecoming is, like, total ass garbage, yet that made tons of money and everybody loves it. So, like, no matter what happens, like, we're gonna get there. So, I mean, come on.
I mean, it goes to show you how valuable an IP Spider-Man is. And it's just... like, you don't have to do very well to make a great Spider-Man. You don't have to make a great Spider-Man movie for it to make a shit ton of money. But when you make a great one, like they did this time around, it just, again, the floor goes up, the ceiling goes higher. I don't even know what the ceiling is right now on the box office of this. Like, if they're talking up to $1 billion, like, holy shit. Superhero fatigue is not real. Mid-script fatigue is real, according to Chimera. I kind of agree with you on that. I feel like, again, Brand New Day does not fall into the traps of being one of those, like, mid-tier superhero movies that kind of regurgitates the same genre conventions we have seen before. And people are going to see it. And it's a Spider-Man movie, and it's got the Hulk in it, and there's Punisher, and there's Sadie Sink, and then, you know, all these other characters. So there's a lot to see in this, you know. And yeah, I mean, you got D23 coming up, and we already have X-Men news trickling out, so I can imagine that Marvel is going to keep the train rolling. Yeah, as Marvel rises, baby, I'm happy as for the MCU, and yeah, we all want more. We always want more. Yeah, people have known this version of Spider-Man also longer than any other version of the character as well. I think that familiarity also definitely helps. Do you lads think Gunn may use Spider-Man's success to kick Batman stuff into high gear? No, unfortunately, I don't think so.
Because DC can't get out of their own fucking way, so it's just, I think they're...
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get into it later, but, like, I think at this point, I think DC is just cursed. Like, it's just cursed at this point. No matter what they do, it'll never reach the heights that they should, because it's just cursed. You
Look,
know,
no,
I think
I
you
don't
know what
think
I
that's the
think I think
case.
happened. I think on the
Yeah.
set of Batman 89, I think Tim Burton did some ritualistic sacrifice to like, he like let's Batman be, and then like Batman's the only fucking thing that DC fucking has
Yeah.
now. That will always be concurrent. That'll always be a success. Everything else is just on the wayside. No, just nothing else will be ever that good. So that's what we're gonna get. We're just gonna get like
okay,
Batman movies
so
every like 10 years, and that's it. That's all
okay,
all
all right,
DC can
well,
do.
got it. We're gonna talk about DC later. I don't want to get sidetracked with DC. I'm just simply telling you guys, James Gunn is busy filming Man of Tomorrow. Don't expect Batman news anytime soon because he's probably not paying too much attention to the Batman script right now. That's just a fact of matter, like in terms of what's going on. Like it would be nice if they were able to piggyback on it, but I don't think they are going to, and that's okay because you still have the Batman 2 in production, so that's fine. It is what it is. But thank you, Justin Geeky Guy. Hello, and with the super chat, Feige finally remembered that Ant-Man is the one who should be shrinking, not the box office returns, but dumb chush. Cool. I don't really get the joke, but thank you for the super chat. Also, Brand New Day was great, but could have been greater. I give it an 8 out of 10. Well, 8 out of 10 is still a fantastic score. So look, hello Smacky, Clayface looks good. It does. It absolutely does. Again, I'm not trying to get sidetracked with like DC comparisons. We're talking about Spider-Man right now. We'll get to DC later. Not everything needs to be a zero-sum game. Like just because Marvel's successful right now doesn't mean DC can't be later and vice versa. So last year we were cracking jokes at the expense of Marvel because Superman was the highest grossing movie of the year. It's all about rising tides raises all ships, like we talk about, and that applies at all times, not just when it's convenient to your argument. So that being said, let's move on to talk. I'm going to break this down. Like, look, here's the reason why I think, and I'll go through all the supporting arguments in a second, but I think, John, while we were considering 800 million as like the high mark of what Spider-Man Brand New Day can do in its opening weekend, I think now, if it is on track to beat Avengers Endgame's opening weekend domestically, just in the US, in Canadian markets alone, with over 357 million, that to me means it's very possible that Brand New Day could, on the high end, make $1 billion in its opening weekend. So let me go through that here. Of course, it did already beat Avengers Endgame's previews because Avengers Endgame's previews were 60 million in 2019, and now 7 years later, Spider-Man Brand New Day made over 72 million. I saw the final number today was like 74.5 that it made in its previews alone. That is incredible. Now let's keep going from here because I want to break it down with like why 800 million might now be a very moderate estimate based on where things are headed. So Fernando's saying, hey, look, Spider-Man just had the biggest Thursday previews of all time. And of course, that includes the Wednesday Amazon Prime early screenings. So it completely beat out Avengers Endgame's numbers. And it just, at this point, it set itself up for a historic weekend at the box office. Now let's keep going from here. Global Box Office told us that the 74.5 million previews pretty much sets the movie on track to make 330 to 380 million. 380 obviously beats Avengers Endgame. So that would put it pretty high, pretty high up the list in terms of being able to have one of the greatest opening weekends of all time. Second, if not the first, depending on which market you're in. Now, Spider-Man Brand New Day in the UK is already, looking at an opening between 55 to 65 million, which means it could be the biggest opening weekend in the history of the United Kingdom if it hits the high mark there, because Avengers Endgame sits with 56, and then Spectre, the 007 James Bond movie, of course, sits with 63. So in the UK, Spider-Man could also become the highest grossing opening weekend of all time. In Korea, it's, eyeing a 21 to 24 million 5-day opening weekend. That is up like by a few million from yesterday because it just keeps making more and more money, and it would make it one of the biggest opening weekends they've seen this year. Then of course you go over to the next country we're gonna talk about. Actually no, for 1 second, let me see if let's talk about Japan. I think I had the wrong link open on my side. Did I have the wrong link open? I might actually have the lower. No, we're talking about Japan's box office, where it's got the third biggest opening day for the MCU post-COVID. So you look at that there. I mean, even in Japan, Brand New Day is only behind No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness. So doing great in Japan as well. Let's go over. We talk about let's see, China's box office, the second biggest, if not the biggest market in the world for box office. It's already made 71 million in 3 days. In 3 days, because in China, movies get released on Wednesday and Tuesday is the preview day. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, including Tuesday previews, it's made $71 million. That's huge. And then there's got already 8.1 million in pre-sales for Saturday. And then they're also talking about how a lot of the foot traffic, there's a lot of people, because of the positive word of mouth, on Friday alone, 76% of the tickets sold were bought on the day. They weren't pre-sales. Only 23.9% were pre-sales. That's huge, because that means the numbers you're predicting now could be a significantly less than what they ultimately end up doing, because more people are showing up on the day rather than buying their tickets ahead of time. So in China, you're looking at 125 million 5-day opening, to maybe 115 on the low end, and that's huge. Hello, movie spot. So again, China is going to be adding another 125 million potentially. Now you go to India. In India, it's become the fifth solo film on the all-time top 10 opening days for a Hollywood film in the market. Now, India, of course, has a robust domestic film market, and they put out a lot of big movies there. They've got a few big ones coming up this year and next year, but yeah, it's got the biggest opening day of all time for a Hollywood movie in local currency, which did beat Avengers Endgame's record in India as well. So India is set to pitch in another 30 million, 25 to 30 million in this opening weekend. Then you go over to, of course, after India, we got to talk about the cinema score, John, talking about positive word of mouth. We talked about how Supergirl's cinema score wasn't that impressive. We have talked about recently other movies doing relatively better. Like even Moana had an A minus, even though the box office isn't doing all that good. But for Spider-Man Brand New Day, the cinema score is now out. It's a strong A. And because it's an A, I mean, it's the same as Homecoming Far From Home, Across the Spider-Verse. It's actually a little bit below No Way Home and Into the Spider-Verse, which both got A pluses. And then the original Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire versions, and the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield all had A minuses. The third Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire and Amazing Spider-Man 2 had B pluses. So again, it's on the upper echelon of that, and the A cinema score, I think, means again, there's just going to be a lot more repeat business with people going back. Like I'm going for the second time, and I'm probably somebody who doesn't go see many movies 2 times in the same week. So I can only imagine the people that do that, they are going to be bringing their friends and family to go see it multiple times. So Patrick's saying, does this mean the success of Brand New Day, eventually Doomsday's success, puts pressure on DC? Yeah, I mean, it does. But again, it's not a zero-sum game. Obviously, DC's time to show what they can do with what they've got. But I think DC knows that this year is Marvel's year, and next year is where they can, make a bang. So now all of those monies that I just talked about, India adding 40 million, China adding 125. We saw like Korea doing like 35, 25 million. It's just Korea did 24. I think Japan was going to do another 35. All of these big markets, are adding a lot of money. We haven't even talked about Brazil and those other countries, in Europe and Asia and South America that will add a lot of them, for them, the biggest openings of the year in those markets, the biggest Hollywood movie openings of all time. All of that equals, John, to a huge box office worldwide for Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's set to, according to Louis Fernando, obliterate the industry estimates, which we talked about were coming in a bit too low a couple of days ago. People were predicting 535 million. Now we're looking at just abroad, outside of the US market alone, this movie could make 580 to 630 million. Domestic, I mean, and this domestic number is 325 million, but that we're already talking about, it could be higher than that. It could be 380 million, we talked about a few minutes ago, which would mean, John, that according to Luis Fernando, the movie could make 855 to 955 million in its 5-day opening weekend. That's like Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness in his entire box office run made $950 some odd million. And Spider-Man Brand New Day could make that in its opening weekend alone. It would have broken even and made another $300 million on top of that in profit for Sony. So that would be the second biggest opening of all time. It would obliterate Infinity War's $640.5 million opening. It would obliterate, No Way Home's $600 million opening, only behind the $1.2 billion opening to Avengers Endgame. Now we keep going from this because this isn't even it. Global box office shooting for even higher, because they're saying by the time we got to Thursday, the movie had already brought in $200 million. And now looking at everything else we know, according to global box office, Spider-Man Brand New Day could make $1 billion in its opening weekend worldwide. And that would mean, John, it would, in its opening weekend alone, Spider-Man Brand New Day will become not only a $1 billion movie, but also in just his opening weekend, the highest grossing movie of the year. Move aside Odyssey, move aside Toy Story 5, move aside Michael, move aside Super Mario Galaxy. Spider-Man is here, and in just the first 5 days of release, and in a lot of countries, just the first 3 days of release, Spider-Man Brand New Day would become a $1 billion movie, make its money back, and potentially be touching the Avengers Endgame opening weekend, which still is the record. That is wild. I don't know, like, what you have. Do you have anything to say to that? Because I am still bewildered.
Honestly,
I don't know. I can't believe it.
I have no fuck. It's just in awe. In awe.
Yeah.
Never bet against Spider-Man. I
Never.
learned that the hard way.
Because you did. What did you say your original
Yes,
bet
thank
was?
you for
It's not going to
explaining
make
the joke,
$1 billion?
Dan.
You're not going to make you said originally with CC Black, you bet that Spider-Man Brand New Day wouldn't even make $1 billion, and now it's set to do that in this opening weekend. Like, it's just like, Tom Holland was like, all right, hold my beer. I'm going to go do some numbers and be right back. So it's just like, it's wild. All quadrants, everybody showing up, everybody and their grandma is going to see Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is insane. At this point, I think to me, what this says is like, look, Spider-Man and Batman are the two most successful and the two most bankable superhero characters in the world. Currently, Spider-Man is a distance ahead of Batman. But I'm telling you right now, given how well this movie is doing, A, it means Avengers Doomsday will do better because of it. And then B, it raises the ceiling and raises the floor for what, Man of Tomorrow can do, for what Secret Wars can do. And again, the Batman Part 2 may be 6 years too late, but when it comes out, the first one made over $700 million. I think the Batman Part 2 could make over $1 billion. Now, of course, that's nothing like making $1 billion in the opening weekend alone. But John, I think the question must be asked, if Spider-Man Brand New Day is on its way to making $1 billion, or even if it makes 950, like, that is fucking insane. Like, we talked about the break even for this movie with the marketing and the box office was 600 million. 800 would have meant they had 200 million in profit. Like, 950 would, like I said, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness made that money in its entire run. Oppenheimer made that much money in its entire run. Spider-Man would have done it in his first 3 to 5 days of, just this opening weekend alone. Do you think this now means that Spider-Man Brand New Day is a guarantee to make $2 billion? Or do you think that given how superhero movies are now much more front-loaded than even they were 6-7 years ago when Endgame came out, meaning more people come to see the movie in its opening weekend, do you think that means that despite the huge opening, that Brand New Day will not
The
quite
thing that
get
it
to $2
has going for it
billion?
is the fact nothing is coming out in August. Fucking nothing.
You're right.
Dog shit. Zero. Egg. Nothing. That, like, Odyssey, gonna do well, still gonna do well despite this. We're gonna get into that soon enough. But, like, it's but then it had this. So, of course, it's, like, gonna diminish as one does. But, like, goose egg in August. Come on. There's nothing. Like what? Oh, fucking some indie movie? Yeah, sure. Okay, Spider-Man, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah.
You know what it's like? It's like Punisher running Spider-Man over. It's like that's what Spider-Man is doing to every indie movie that's coming out in August. Like that's all it is. But yeah,
I
I
know.
mean,
I wasn't looking at the schedule. I'm like, I couldn't find any big movies of note. Like, is there anything important coming out?
that's
Like,
what I'm looking up right now.
you got Super Troopers
Attack
3.
of the Killer Tomatoes and Camp Rock 3. Yeah, sure. That'll kill him.
Wait, hold on. Camp Rock 3 is a theatrical release? I didn't even think that was.
Oh no, it's on Disney Plus. Never mind.
Okay, one night only. You know what? I don't think that movie was going to make
ones
money.
are like
but
Super
sure.
Troopers 3, Ice Cream Man, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Organic Intelligence, The End of Oak Street, Nimrods, Insidious,
There's that
Mutiny,
Reagan movie, Brink of War.
Be a mutiny.
Yeah.
The biggest movies are like The Dog Stars and Coyote versus Acme, and that's like at the tail end of the month.
Yeah.
So
I
like
mean, Insidious would make some money.
Help,
but yeah.
There's nothing even in September either. You have Fall 2, Practical Magic 2, Onslaught, The Uprising, Resident Evil,
Tom and Jerry
Heart of the Beast with that Brad Pitt movie, and Prime Time, the Chris Hansen movie. And then
Practical Magic 2, Resident Evil.
What is it? Well, what, Street Fighter? Matchbox the movie? That's what's going to kill Spider-Man? Yeah, sure, okay.
No.
Honestly, the next big movie is Doomsday. That's literally the next big blockbuster is Doomsday.
I mean, John, you don't know. Maybe like Digger could really make a
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Digger might get Tom Cruise an Oscar, but it's not going to do diddly squat outside of that. Like, come on now.
Yeah, Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, Sense and Sensibility.
Clayface.
That's gonna be the Stone Cold Killer right there.
Did you see the trailer for Vicar? I'm just kidding. I mean, that's not gonna
like Hunger Games. That's like the
Christmas
next kind of sort of big blockbuster.
Ebenezer.
But yeah, that's kind of
that's like Thanksgiving time.
That's Thanksgiving. But if this shit might still be in theaters then.
Yeah, Spider-Man has a clear runway, aside from the Odyssey, which will be just, riding his coattails from here, right until Thanksgiving, which is probably the time when this starts to finally taper off. But yeah, it's wild. I didn't think it was possible. I thought 800, we were like maybe like going way too high, and then, when Deadline was saying 500 something, and now everybody's revising their numbers, and Sony out there being coy, like 195 to 200 million. It's like, but like in the background, they're like, oh no, we're gonna make way more than that. So that was a domestic number. They could double that number just domestically alone. But yeah, I mean, the early morning showings are, it's just like, we thought the Odyssey was wild in terms of like the amount of tickets people are buying up, and we will talk about it later. That hasn't stopped. Like, especially for IMAX, but like it's wild, John. I have had a very hard time finding a good seat for Spider-Man Brand New Day, trying to go for a second screening, and I'm glad I got one tomorrow. But it's just crazy. Like, people are going to see this all day long. Remember yesterday we talked about there was a theater it's in the UK that had 20 showings on the same few screens all day long for Spider-Man Brand New Day, and that wasn't even like all the screens. It was just like they're just gonna add more and more and more. So they're cranking those projectors as long as they can to keep playing this movie again and again and again. And because it's not like a terribly long movie, like 2.5 hours means even with commercials, you could fit into a 3-hour time slot and then just recycle. And if the movie theater is open for 18 hours, you can fit in, at least 6 screenings per theater screen. So, that just adds up. It adds up really, really quickly. But yeah, do you see Clayface movie reaching Spider-Man by around $800 million?
Come on, it's not going to even reach Obsession numbers. Get the fuck out of here.
I think for Clayface, a good run is 300 to 400 million. I think it's like Supergirl, right? Like, I think it's the same thing, except it would be way more profitable at that number because they spend a fraction of what they spend on Supergirl. So yeah, it's not, no, 800 million. If it does that, it would be like Joker levels of like craziness, and I just don't know if you.
But that's not the case. It doesn't have Joaquin Phoenix. It doesn't have.
It doesn't.
Joker is a way bigger character.
It doesn't have Robert fucking De Niro in the movie, John. Don't forget, Robert De Niro was in that first movie, and that means something. So it's that, especially considering how the story plays out. But yeah, I mean, The Odyssey is still selling out. Spider-Man Brand New. These are the two biggest movies of the year so far. I think Doomsday will do well. I don't know if it could, like, I don't know, John. I thought Doomsday was gonna debut to like Infinity War numbers, and if Spider-Man is gonna make $1 billion in its opening weekend, then uh, I mean, yeah, I feel like this will be the highest grossing movie of the year. I don't know if Doomsday gets there. Like it could. I mean, it definitely could because this came out first, and then will have an effect on it. And the way the movie ends with the post-credit scene, it sort of links to Doomsday, or you'd imagine either Doomsday or Secret Wars. So it's very possible. Patrick saying the one good thing about Brand New Day's success is it will continue to upset the cinephiles that want the comic book genre as a whole to cease to exist. Yeah, I don't think comic book movies are going anywhere. And to anybody who thought they were, like, get in line and go collect your unemployment check. But like MTG saying Doomsday will have to be really good to outperform Spider-Man Brand New Day. Yeah, it would really have to be. And I feel like this is going to be the better movie. The trailers just don't convince me. As I've seen the leaked San Diego Comic-Con trailer for Doomsday, and it's still not as convincing. I mean, I feel like this is still going to be the better movie. Also because unlike the Russo brothers, Destin Daniel Cretton had this commitment to doing a lot of the stunt sequences as much practically as he could with the the wire work and everything that you don't see as much in Hollywood these days. Bollywood and Indian cinema and other like Hong Kong action cinema still uses a lot of wire work for their stunts, but Hollywood doesn't do that as much. And then the rest of the movie is just written really well too all around. So, hey Brian, is this year done for low budget horror movie, or do we have surprise success coming our way? I think Clayface is probably the biggest one. The End of Oak Street could be a good surprise at the box office, but I feel like Clayface is probably the biggest potential. Insidious will make money. I just don't think it's gonna make a ton of money. Doomsday needs Madam Web quality to succeed. Yeah, I know Doomsday is gonna succeed. It's just how high will it fly? I don't think it's gonna swing any higher than Spider-Man Brand New Day is. So, but yeah, it doesn't have to be very good, but it needs to be good to compare at least. I don't know, but it's also like apples to oranges because Spider-Man is a movie about a solo character with a lot of these other MCU characters in it, whereas Doomsday is very much a team ensemble cast movie. So it's kind of comparing apples to oranges creatively, but the box office, we'll find out. I mean, we'll be here talking about it. We'll see how high it can go, because remember, Doomsday also has more competition. Dune Part 3 comes out the same day, and then Jumanji Open World comes out a week after. And you'd imagine the Odyssey and or Spider-Man Brand New Day might still be playing in theaters, although probably not consequentially at that point, but you'll still have Ebenezer playing. I don't know. I think the Brad Pitt movie, the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel, would be out by then because it comes in for 3 weeks in Thanksgiving. So, but Doomsday will have more, top shelf competition than Brand New Day has, with Odyssey already in its third week. So, Figuring saying, I don't know who would claim Doomsday may be the better movie. Doomsday is just a freak show. I would love to be wrong though. Yeah, we'll see. Justin, you guys saying what will work against Doomsday is that it will compete against Dune Part 3. Exactly. And not Dune Part 3 when it's already been out for 2 weeks. They're coming out the same day. So I don't know. We'll see. But Spider-Man Brand New Day looking like it's gonna, start off with $1 billion, which is, it would make it the second biggest opening weekend of all time, right behind Endgame. And domestically, it probably is going to beat Avengers Endgame's numbers. So, yeah, we shall find out on Monday. We'll see if the hype is for real and if the movie ultimately delivers. So, yeah. On that note, let's move on. We have a few more things about Spider-Man Brand New Day, John. Speaking of John Bernthal was talking about his brotherly dynamic with Tom Holland and Spider-Man Brand New Day and the Odyssey, and then also talking about how, or why Punisher is Peter Parker's cautionary tale. I actually like the second part of this headline, John, because I watched the movie and I immediately was thinking, John Bernthal is a character. Frank Castle in the movie is probably thinking like, the way Spider-Man is going, at least that was what he was trying to get across to him, is like, if you keep going like this, I am your future. And I feel like at one point in the movie, I distinctly was thinking Peter Parker realizes that Frank Castle could be his future if he doesn't change how he's doing things. And then the way things play out in the end of the movie, and they're like, I'm not going to be doing this alone anymore. Like, I think that was a great connection. So I'm not surprised that John Bernthal was talking about this, saying it'll be great, to be able to do 2 in a row with my friend Tom. It's just so beautiful to come full circle. And beyond anything, I'm just enormously grateful to be in New York for this time and doing this play on Broadway, which Liz saw and gave a review of. So go back and check that out. I was very much in touch with that 18-year-old kid who had this dream that at times seemed sort of impossible and far away. I really wanted to honor that kid by doing that play Dog Day Afternoon. And when I look at these other projects and I got to have a real hand in creating and writing myself, I'm just so grateful. It's been a really, really magical year. I mean, John, do you feel like in the movie they sort of, imply that if Peter Parker keeps going the loner route, that he could end up like, Frank Castle? Like that's the cautionary tale that he's got to look up to, because it's not like the Peter Parker relationship with
No.
Frank Castle is like Tony Stark
Well, I mean,
or Doctor
yes
Strange,
and no. That's the
right?
thing. Yes, it is a
Yeah.
cautionary tale. I think even Geeky Guy mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
That like he represents that vigilante, like kind of extremist side. Hulk represents the
Mm-hmm.
monstrous side. Jean Grey represents
Interesting.
the like that mutant quote unquote side
Mm-hmm.
of Peter, if he like the inhibitor chip and all that stuff, if he didn't let
Mm-hmm.
that go. So that was very very representative. But I don't think it's a cautionary tale for future films, just like a cautionary tale of like, oh, this is what we could become, kind of like how like, oh,
Yeah.
Batman is like, oh, if I killed the Joker, I wouldn't be able to stop, kind of thing. But that
Right.
never happens. Well, unless you're Tim Burton, who's a fucking idiot, but like that's beside the point. The whole thing, I don't think that's gonna happen for future movies, because the whole ending of the movie, spoiler alert, is him connecting with Ned, most likely, because like he
Mm-hmm.
remembers Peter and all that shit. Yeah, cringy, I know, but like it still like worked. And that seems like that they are like furthering that, and that he is going to be like, I need the balance of Peter and Spider-Man, kind of what Toby learned at the end of Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
I can only be Spider-Man so much and all that stuff. So I think that, yeah, that's always going to be like the back of his mind kind of thing, but like it seems like he's going to be more balanced, have people in his life that care about him. I like that they aren't going with the Zendaya thing of like, oh, they're together. I mean, sure, they'll probably end up together by the end of all this, but
Yeah,
I
I get
like,
a
oh,
sense that
maybe
that
he'll
was
be.
gonna happen
It's kind of
eventually.
like
Yeah.
it's kind of like a little bit of a having their cake and eating it too moment, or it's like, oh, he'll be friends with Ned, but MJ won't remember him. I'm like, that's kind of interesting. Like, I'm not a huge Ned fan, but like, it's like we have the friendship part, and that's good. But then we can also maybe have a side thing, bring Black Cat into this. I'm just saying. Black Cat's better than MJ. But, it's just, I'm just saying. Like, bring that in, Cretton. We'd love to see it. Maybe Sydney Sweeney. I don't know. She deserves redemption after
Okay.
fucking Madam Web. I'm just saying. Okay? I don't think anybody would be complaining
Yeah.
about that. Well, some people would be
Fair.
complaining, but whatever. They also complain
Sure.
about a jeans commercial, so fuck them. But, it's
I
a
never
whole
understood that part, but anyway.
it's a whole thing. But yeah, I think that was a good thing to. No, I don't want to do the Hobgoblin thing. It would just be dumb.
They already
like,
sort of addressed it in the last movie with like the I'm not gonna turn into a villain and like go after him. Like,
yeah, I
okay,
mean, I
cool,
like how they're
good.
not doing that, because I think that would be a really
Yeah.
stupid route to take. Because it's like in the comics, it was like bad editorial decisions, and
Mhm.
like there's a lot of. I already went
Yeah.
through it. There was a lot of problems with that because of like no communication with like editors and writers and stuff like that. And the guy fucking left who created Hobgoblin, so there was that too. But yeah, I think I agree. By the way, love the profile pic, Caleb. Really appreciate that. My own son's hacking the government, baby. Let's go.
Join the rebellion.
But yeah, that was easy. Anyway, I think like give us.
So
I will
good.
say for the next movie, hey, can you give us an
Yeah.
actual Spider-Man villain,
Mhm.
please? That would be great.
Well, what are you
Get
talking about? They
Kraven
gave
in
us
there.
like
Get the
6 of them in
spiders.
this movie.
I will say there was a lot of technology
So-
stuff in this movie, especially with the inhibitor chip.
Mhm.
Get like the Spider
True.
Slayers in there. That would be awesome. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it. Do Spencer Smythe and the Spider Slayers, and then maybe do like Craven. Bring Aaron Taylor Johnson back. He flipped worlds. He came to this one. Boom. There we go. Perfect.
It was you, Caleb. It's you. It was you. I'm like, oh god, yeah. More of the world's references all day long.
I fucking
Such a
love that
bad
movie. I don't care what anybody says. It's
I,
perfect.
you know
It's
what? I might
perfect.
watch that before I go to bed. I was gonna watch the new episode of Silo, but I need to watch that movie again.
I need to watch
Um,
fucking Cape Crusader before Monday. I'm gonna have to slog through that just for you guys. I hope you appreciate that.
Yes, the whole season. We'll talk about that later too.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
had
they had
Scorpion.
cameo in there
Like
twice.
Michael Mando, the guy who was in one of the
Twice.
greatest TV shows of the last like 20 fucking years. Nah, let's not use him. Fuck you. Get out of here. At least they
Well, I'm
like
sure
kind of paid it off, but like
Yeah.
still like get the fuck out of here.
Oh, he only saw it for the first time. That's
Oh,
why
I've
Caleb's
seen
into
it
right now.
twice. It's
Okay.
peak terrible. Peak
It's so-
terrible.
you just, as long as you go in expecting like this is like the really bad senior project short film that one of your friends made for their capstone project in film school, then you'll have an amazing time with it because that's exactly the kind of movie that it is. And they just
you're,
happen to
you're
get Ice Cube.
giving
You know, it's yeah. peak
you're giving
cinema.
you're giving student films not enough credit because there's probably some better ones that are better than War of the Worlds.
I know, no, I'm saying, but like I've seen some pretty bad ones too. It's just, but anyway, okay. You know, Spider-Man Brand New Day got leaked on X today, like the latest movie to have that happen to it. I think the Odyssey had that happen, and then they got taken down, but it got millions of views before it did get taken down. Now, of course, John, I'm not surprised that Sony acted on this as fast as they did, much like Universal did that for the Odyssey. But do you feel like this is starting to become a problem? Because it's like it seems to be only on X that it lasts long enough that millions of people can see it before it actually gets taken down. And I'm like, you know, there's ways for people to download that stuff off of X before it gets taken down. So I'm like, now that version is probably getting circulated around because they didn't take it down fast enough. Like, it's just, does it surprise you at this point? Like, and the fact that they keep getting away with it, like something is wrong with X's moderation.
Keep getting away with it. Anyway, yeah, it's like, guys, get your shit together. But
It's like, I know like X is a tire fire most days, but like this is kind of wild.
tire fire all days, bro. Come
all
on
day.
now.
Yeah, that's fair. Justin, you guys asking, do you think they'll eventually kill off Jean DeWolf by having Sin Eater take her out in the comics?
No, because nobody fucking knows who Sin Eater
no.
is, and frankly, no one
Yeah.
cares. So
Exactly. Plus, I think that character is like more important and it works well in the movie. Brian saying, wondering if villains in Spider-Man movies proper better than the villains without Spider-Man. Well, I think it's relative. It's kind of hard to compare because like one of them had to, you know, be a villain in the movie with Spider-Man. The other was the main character of their own film. So I think it's apples to oranges. And even then, I think it's
I mean,
mixed
here's the
results.
thing. I will say this. I might not like Homecoming. I might not like Far From Home. Michael Keaton was good. Should have
Oh,
been
he was
better,
really
but like
good.
he was fine. But like I feel like and Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, he was good in it. Like he kind of saved that movie
Yeah.
from being like the worst thing ever. But it's just like I think somebody mentioned this. I forget who it was. But it's just like, imagine like being a blue collar worker and whatever, and then like after one faulty job, you immediately go to crime. It's just like, where's the fucking jump, bro? It's like, we gotta change too. Bro, you're immediately jumping to crime after one time and one like contract goes up. Really? I think you just want to be a criminal really badly, like if that's the fucking case. It's like we got to change. No, you're just a fucking psychopath, you fucking weirdo. And then Mysterio, like the whole thing, he called my fucking thing barf, and then he becomes a villain. It's like, go fuck yourself. Who fucking wrote this shit? Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get out of here.
I mean, I thought the idea was like there's more to the backstory that kind of leads them there. We just happen to be there when the transition happens, but well, Logan already saw it online. Good for you, man. Go see it in the movie theater. It's gonna make $1 billion this weekend.
It
Not that
doesn't
they
need
your money.
it's
but,
gonna do fine. You don't even need to see it at this
yeah.
in the movie theater at this point. Like,
Well, but I'm just saying, go see it for yourself on a big screen the way it's meant to be with proper sound system, not like somebody's bootleg version. But yeah, Um,
Do
Pete
you really
John
think he's
Watson.
gonna win that battle? Come on now, really? Like, oh, you're gonna sue Iron Man and get away with it? Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, he could probably tie you up in court forever with his money,
Yeah,
but
because
theoretically
remember, Tony
speaking.
Stark is an asshole.
Well, he's also dead in the cinematic universe.
Yeah,
So
good. Fuck him.
All right. On that note, I mean, John, did you? I'm sure you caught this. The opening, the Marvel Studios fanfare. They now seem to be getting away from the ba 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 ba, like the whole like, and now it's just like they're in this like post peak MCU days where they just started customizing it because it's not so precious anymore for every different movie. So like, did you notice how? And there's obviously they show you all the different Spider-Man clips from the previous movies, and then they show like Peter Parker disappearing, like walking with MJ, kissing MJ, which is kind of weird. So like, did she just kiss air? Like, not there's a little scene that pops up with Ned where he disappears. So like, they show Peter Parker just like fading from existence, and then also there's the line with the script of when Doctor Strange is like, if everybody forgets, they're gonna forget you completely because nobody's gonna remember Peter Parker existed. And he's like, I know,
Unless muscle memory,
do
but
it. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of fun that they're doing that, and obviously not being precious with like having. I mean, I like the fanfare, the when they created with the music and everything, and maybe you can use that in places. But I like what they did here, and it is kind of cool because obviously in the movie itself, Destin Daniel Cretton said didn't want to deal with the whole what about old photos and stuff, and is Peter Parker just missing because now it's like Tony Stark just like has got nobody next to him when he's taking that photo with the intern Peter Parker and stuff. So, and like in Deadpool Wolverine when he goes to Happy's office, like conveniently the photo is obstructed, so you can't really tell if Peter was there or not. So I like
Tony Stark.
what they
I
did
don't
though
know, like
with this.
multiple times, like fucking almost destroying the world purely for his own ego. Yeah, that's not great. Same with Reed Richards. Fuck the both of them. They're like literally Stan Lee said, "I'm going to make an unlikable, shitty character. I am going to force on the audience until they like him." That was literally the premise of Iron Man. Like, that's what Stan Lee was like. I'm going to force this terrible character down everyone's throats until they like him. That was literally the premise of the character. He was supposed to be an unlikable shitbag. That's the point of Iron Man. He's a horrible character. And the thing is, now he can't even blame it on the alcohol. He's just a piece of shit, not drunk. They couldn't even do that. So like, bro, it's just,
but anyway,
he
okay.
sucks, and he can't even blame the booze. He's just sucks.
I mean, I think the MCU did good with Iron Man ultimately, but I will say this though, Peter was not simping over Mary Jane. The dude loves Mary Jane, and now she forgets him. I mean, either you've never been in a relationship or have been in love, because that probably shows without how you're commenting. Because I thought that was one of the most heartbreaking parts of the movie, where, like you said, John, they did it way better than like what James Gunn did with Nebula and
100%.
Star-Lord in Guardians 3. This was way better executed, and I was like, wow. Like, and you could see it in Tom's eyes. Like, remember there's that scene where she's like on the other side of the curtain and she's like, so is there a Mrs. Spider-Man? And it's almost like in that moment, I'm like, Tom Holland probably broke kayfabe and like did the chuckle and just like pause. And they were just like, he probably was not supposed to like do that for as long as it like went on for before he says anything.
Yeah,
like,
my dad was like, "Yeah, it's
take.
you, bitch." Like,
yeah,
it's just like it was kind of funny
because it's like the chemistry bleeds in from real life circumstances, and I was just like, that was a really cool scene because you can't.
I mean, here's the thing: I can kind of agree with Logan. There's a million fish in the sea, bro. It's like, bro, it's your high school sweetheart. That shit never works out.
Yeah,
you're fine. Move on. Black Cat's right there. Fucking Gwen Stacy's not dead in this universe. She's right there. Like, come on. Like, there are better options.
Yeah, but dude, it's not like he ever got this particular version of Peter Parker has been just
Liz Toombs is still alive. He could
yeah, finally... but I get it, but like I'm sure maybe he will move on down the road.
You know what? Vulture isn't even in this world anymore, so like he can
do
the poom poom and like go off and do that.
But no, so, like she went on. Didn't she like move out of town or something? Like that whole family.
Yeah, but like he can find her. So... Like he's Spider-Man. Like,
okay, yeah, of course, because that's how things work. That's how things work. Of course they do. I mean, like everybody who has never, fallen in love or like had any, like, okay, MJ is attractive. Okay, there you go, Logan. See, you clearly have never. Well, you probably are a virgin, so that's why. And on that lovely note, we should move on to the next thing, because Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to make $1 billion. And I think it's going to do brilliantly well from here, because it's guaranteed at this point to make probably $2 billion if it's only crossing $1 billion on its opening weekend, which is wild. Absolutely wild. But we got a lot more to talk about, John. Especially, I saw the news today. I was very happy and excited about this. Samara Weaving is our official Emma Frost for the new Marvel X-Men movie. Let's talk about that, shall we? I saw this news. It's not confirmed by Marvel because Marvel did not comment on it, but Deadline broke the news exclusively, and then everybody else picked it up. The Samara Weaving. Now, auditions had been going on since May, but they said they actually had the most extensive auditioning process for Emma Frost, and then they had brought back a lot of the actors to do their latest round of auditions, the fourth round, I think it was, around 4th of July, and it just was that Samara Weaving's audition just couldn't be beat. And so she is Emma Frost in the upcoming X-Men movie that's going to hopefully be out 2028. Your reactions to this, the look and feel of this, the fit, Ready or Not 2, like she's had a great year already. And she just had a baby, like she had the baby bump of promoting Ready or Not 2. She's having an amazing, wonderful year. What about you?
I just want to say, everybody right now watching, let's just everyone get on our knees, thank the Lord Almighty that Emma Frost is not fucking played by Sydney Sweeney. Let's just all just take a moment of silence and just thank the Lord, whatever Lord you believe in. If you don't believe in a Lord, Flying Spaghetti Monster, Matthew Lillard, whatever you worship, just get on your knees and pray and thank the Lord you worship that this fucking character is not fucking played by Boobs McGee. Thank fucking Christ. No offense to Sydney Sweeney, but she's not this character. But everyone's like, she's blonde, she has tits, let's make her fucking Emma Frost. No, let's not do that. Let's not do that, buddy. When I heard this, I was very happy. I really enjoy Samara Weaving as an actress. I think she will do this great. I don't know if she's the most perfect casting for me. When we did our fan casting of Emma Frost, you could still watch it, compare and contrast. But personally, I think Rosamund Pike would have been better if they went with an older Emma Frost. Rosamund Pike was like peak right there. That, I think for me, that was like that I would have loved to have seen if they were going for an older Emma Frost, that they went with Rosamund Pike. Rosamund Pike would have been perfect casting for me personally. However, I'm not complaining about this because I think if you're going for the younger, like a younger version of the character, then boom, there we go. No, I'm not. I don't believe in anything. I don't like not believe in anything. It's just whatever. I just live. That's all. I live in the moment. Buddhist? Sure, why not? But I'm just kidding. But the fact that they are going with the younger version, I think Samara Weaving is in her early 30s. I think she's 33, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong on that. But the fact that they are going with a younger Emma Frost, I think Samara Weaving is a great. Oh, yep, got the Gooners in the chat. Gooners in the chat, baby. Let's go. I think this works. I think this is great. I think Samara Weaving will do an excellent job. It's just I don't trust the MCU and I just don't trust Marvel to do the X-Men right. But I'm great casting, you know?
I mean, is Jake Schreier, he did Thunderbolts, which was really
which fucking bombed, and you know.
Wait, no, it didn't bomb. I mean, it made money. It just broke even and made a little bit of profit. It was not by MCU standards an incredibly successful movie, but I think it was pretty good. And yes,
well, Beast doesn't have an actor right now.
We don't have. There's no official casting for Beast.
We
only have.
I mean, the only one that's been in the MCU is Kelsey Grammer, but he already played the character in Last Stand. So,
I mean, and he's coming back for Doomsday, but yeah. But I mean, look, if this is the first casting outside of Sadie Sink in Spider-Man Brand New Day, then I mean, you know what? I was kind of curious though, John, because if Emma Frost is being played by Samara Weaving, who is a good bit older, I mean, and it's not like you can, like, if you put them next to each other, it's not like, you know, they can pull off looking like the same age group with Sadie Sink and Samara Weaving.
She's 34. I was close. Like, my bad. But
that's a perfectly perfectly fine age to
Yeah.
be entering into a new franchise.
Especially
Now,
if they're planning to have very young
right,
X-Men. Like the fact that I
exactly.
think Sadie Sink is 20, like around there, like late
In her
teens, early
20s.
20s.
Yeah.
Like
She's
so
24. She's
okay,
so
so she's
yeah.
24.
It's about a 10
But
year
the thing
gap
is, I
there.
think they're
Yeah.
gonna make her. I don't think they ever said her age in Brand New Day, but
No.
the vibe I got was like she's like a very like at the very least very young 20s, like maybe like 17,
Yeah.
18. So the fact that they're going super young with the X-Men, like they're
Right.
probably gonna have very early 20s at the
No, that
most.
didn't happen. You're
Then
fake.
well, he was rumored. Charles Melton was
Yeah,
rumored, but
but
it was not.
that's
He
not
was not
confirmed.
cast.
Yeah.
But so that makes sense because Emma Frost is usually like an older character in comparison to the
Mhm.
X-Men. So you know, it all not always the case, but that's what it usually is. Not much older, like a decade. That seems like a perfect, you know, like age difference. So yeah, plus you know if Cyclops abandons Jean Grey for Emma Frost, which is like honestly the better option anyway. So then it's not
Because
going to be as weird.
that's I've seen people point out like now we have 2 of Cyclops or Scott Summers' love interests that have been cast for the MCU, which I don't think means that that's the direction they're going to go in, but I did want to point out, John, like in the comics, it doesn't Emma Frost like almost in some iterations like run like another school that's kind of like the like the Professor X school for the
Well, I know she
for
takes over
gifted,
the
like
X-Men I think she took over the X-Men in like sometime in the 90s, I think. So they might do that. I don't know what they're gonna. I hope we get a villainous Emma Frost because, like, I don't blame January Jones. She could have been a really good Emma Frost. It's just like she had no role and she was written kind of
she didn't have
poorly.
much to do. Like
She
they
just didn't have anything
give
to
her much
do.
to
Like she
do.
showed up for like 2
Yeah.
seconds and then that was it. But I think personally, I hope that they make her like a proper villain before doing the switch of like, oh, she kind of sort of becomes a good guy. But I know she also is a major part of the Hellfire Club. That was what it was supposed to be in Dark Phoenix. Like
Right.
that was Jessica Chastain's character and
Mhm.
the aliens. They were supposed to be the Hellfire Club, and then they changed it at the last minute to I think compete with like Marvel and use of the scrolls. I don't fucking know, but it
Right.
was they like because they're like, oh, we got to make it alien because the Phoenix Force is alien, and it's just like you could have just made the Phoenix Force alien and just incorporate Emma Frost. It would have been fine, but like whatever. So I know that they were like uh that they were supposed to do that. So honestly, I just want a villainous, you know, Emma Frost before we get into like possible switch because I don't know, just like having her be a good guy. It's just like we haven't gotten the character be a villain yet. Like, come on, give me a little bit. So, you know, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I would love to see the VFX and how they go about doing the whole transforming into like well, her whole body becomes what, a diamond? Is that like her idea? And she's also got telepathic abilities. So yeah, I mean, we saw what that looked like in First Class, but it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. Especially now we got 2 telepaths that are X-Men in the cinematic universe. But yeah, I mean, hey, does Samara Weaving, is she American? Is she have an English accent, or like I don't? Is she from the UK? I don't know.
She's
know if
Australian.
She's Australian. Okay, because in the comics, Emma is American,
She is
but
British in the
uses.
comics.
Okay, got it. Okay. Oh, she's in the comics? Okay, I thought she was American in the comics, but okay.
Is she?
Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think she is American. Sorry,
Okay.
I got her confused with
Although,
somebody. Yeah,
like
no,
the
you're right. She
character
is
apparently
American.
speaks with a British accent in the comics, but she's like American. I
Yeah.
don't know like why, but
That would be
Olivia,
cool. That would be
hello,
interesting to have
asking
Selena
if
in there.
she's Selena in the X-Men movie. Okay. I don't know. I mean, Hellfire Club, this could mean the Hellfire Club is in the movies. It could mean whether there are villains or not. I don't know if there will be villains. It could be a competing team. Like, look, at the end of Spider-Man Brand New Day, where we leave off Sadie Sink in terms of like where her character is headed, like she's kind of out in the wind. And I mean, spoiler alert, she's Jean Grey. they kind of give you this idea that she's looking for her next thing and sense of direction with where she goes with life now, knowing that she doesn't have to be a bad guy necessarily. Like she doesn't have to be a villain, she doesn't have to be evil, and like you can, even if you are special, like be loved by other people. I guess she's now trying to find her people. I mean, she has Spider-Man, but obviously it looked like she was heading out of the city, or I don't know where she was headed. So maybe like Dan's theory time, maybe Jean Grey finds her way to Emma Frost, played by Samara Weaving in the X-Men movie, and she's kind of running like her own little school for the gifted, like not unlike Professor X, and they're like competing schools, because I believe that was in the comics. Like there's like another school for like mutants that Emma Frost runs at one point. So yeah, it would be interesting to see how it all plays out. But yeah, I mean, she's Samara Weaving was born in Australia. That's true. Okay, Brandon. All right, we got some weird comments in the chat. Olivia saying Emma Frost's actual hair color is brown, but she changes her appearance when she grows up. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, hey, the small detail, but I'm sure they'll figure out what they want to do with that. Brian, when are we going to get a Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland moment with Famke Janssen, Sophie Turner, Sadie Sink? I think you'll be waiting for a while, unless they have that planned for Secret Wars. That's probably the closest opportunity. Jean Grey was a girl boss in this, and what?
All right, who the fuck is this dude? Is he Ash back? Is that what's going on now?
Yeah, first of all, like I don't think she was. And if she was, then hell yeah, I think Jean Grey killed it. Literally.
Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss Baby, let's go.
She was one of the most outstanding performances in the entire movie. Like I thought,
right,
Sadie Sink again, star turn.
She was good
because like she played the most like she was like this, playing this person who literally had lost everything in her life and was just at the end of her whim to like even want to live in this world, no less kill everybody around her, and that's hard to play. And for her first appearance, I think in a big movie, because you got to remember Sadie Sink's been on Broadway, she's been in on Netflix shows, but like it's another thing to be in a movie as big as Spider-Man. But I mean, look, Samara Weaving, I'm sure will do a great job as Emma Frost. I can't wait. And this is I think a great natural evolution for her in her movie career. She did like Over Your Dead Body this year. She's done Ready or Not 2. I mean, obviously the first one as well. And she's having a fantastic year. And now that she's got her first really big franchise and it's in the MCU, if things work out well, and as long as it's not a one-time appearance, like she most likely has a multi-picture deal in place, and she might be playing Emma Frost for the better part of a decade and a half from here. So I'm really glad. And they got her again at 34 years of age. She can be around in the role for a decade or more easily. So Olivia asking, do you think Gambit will be in the first X-Men movie? I have no idea. Honestly, I have a feeling they probably will let Gambit kind of breathe as a character for a bit after having Channing Tatum play him for the next couple of Avengers movies. So I thought Jean Grey was amazing in the movie, but I mean, I know, Caleb, that's your opinion. So yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to ban this person because they're just now getting out of hand in the chat. But Brian saying, the movie did make me wonder what is the usual Jean Grey backstory. That's a good question, John. Do you know what the usual Jean Grey backstory is?
Again, Marvel is not my strong suit, so
I mean, I was just going off of the previous iterations, like the 2 Fox versions, and I was just like, look, compared to those two, this version of Jean Grey's origin story was superior because, Famke Janssen didn't really get a origin story. She just was Jean Grey, and when we met her in the first X-Men movie, and then Sophie Turner kind of had a origin story, but it's kind of melded in with like 5 other origin stories and like one of those first class sequels. So I think this was better done for most people's bang for their buck. I think this Jean Grey is probably better set up with a better foundation than the previous ones that we have seen. But John, let's keep going because this isn't the only big news we got today from Marvel with regard to casting. Now, of course, this next one is not actually a casting, but it is one that I think a lot of people would like to see happen. So let's talk about this because Obsession star Indy Navarrete confirmed, I mean, we talked about this once before, but now it's coming directly from her. She confirmed meeting with X-Men director Jake Schreier and would love to play Mystique. If you scroll down, I wanted to kind of read a little bit of what she had to say. because it was kind of interesting. She was talking about how like I've been taking a lot of meetings since Obsession came out. There's just been really nice, it's been really nice because you get to meet a lot of people and ask questions. And then if you scroll down a little bit further, she talked about how she did meet with Jake Schreier. And she didn't really mention like what they talked about, other than saying that I thought Jake brought to what he brought to Thunderbolts was what I used to love about Marvel. It was character driven, and the whole time I just couldn't stop yapping about how much I appreciated what he did with Marvel. And then I think we've talked about the next bit, which is like, she talked about the luxury she has right now is she's able to meet with all these people because a lot of people want to cast Indy in her next big movie. So if you keep scrolling down though, John, at the very end, she mentioned something that I thought was pretty cool. As for characters that Navarrete could play, she left fans with a tease. I mean, Mystique has always been super cool. So if you go to the threads link that I had for this, it just kind of puts all of it up at one time. But in general, John, your thoughts? She kind of has shot her shot here with Mystique. Maybe she wants to play that, or do you think that she's playing coy? Because obviously, would she tell you the character she actually talked?
No. Like Kevin Feige would literally blow her brains out on the spot, like if she ever fucking did anything. But yeah, I think she's just kind of like, hey, that would be cool. Anyway, yeah, I think that would be cool. I think she has the. She needs some comic book adaptation redemption after she played the second most annoying character on Superman and Lois. So I think this would definitely be more up her alley. So
yeah, not that most people remember that now. It's all about Obsession. But,
I remember.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's the best Superman iteration we've ever gotten. There, I fucking said it.
Cool. Figure drawing saying she's definitely an asset. She's sub 5 feet tall, but her personality is huge. Don't really think the height matters again, but cool. I didn't even know that, and I don't really think it would be important. I think she could play a great Mystique. Some people have been saying like she could play like a Jubilee or a Rogue, but I have a feeling Mystique is probably not what she talked about, or maybe it was brought up. But Jake Schreier, like she's throwing us a bone and telling us like, hey, Mystique would be really cool, but that's probably more throwing us off the scent, if anything. But I wouldn't mind. Indy Navarrete, again, her star is rising, and she's one of the most popular actresses this year. And with if Marvel wants to bring in the Gen Zers, she is like the hottest actress in Gen Z world right now with Obsession this year. So I think you could definitely go in that direction. And why would Marvel not do that? I wouldn't be surprised if they did do that. But yeah, I mean, technically a lot of people played Mystique. Hugh Jackman played Mystique disguised as Logan. Yeah, fair, Brian, if you want to get technical about it. But on that lovely note, John, let's go from, an actor who potentially could be in the MCU to an actor who potentially will never be in the MCU. And that, of course...
he is in the MCU, just a different character, and he got killed off after 6 episodes. But we're talking about Mahershala Ali, baby.
I'm going to read this headline, then we'll go to the next article and kind of look into what he said. Mahershala Ali today called out Marvel for not making Blade, saying, "You had me under contract. They have billions of dollars, billions with a B. If they wanted to do it, we would have done it." So he's squarely placing the blame on Marvel Studios, John. If you go to the next article...
Because, I mean, he said, like, if they want to make it, call me. I'm here. I'm waiting.
Literally,
so, like,
that was when Jurassic World was coming out last year. It just seems like things have just never gone anywhere. But like, if you go to the next article for a moment, and I want to read through this because he did say like apparently Marvel just didn't want to do it. So let's scroll down and read more of what he had to say, because he kind of did this long interview with GQ, and he's currently promoting a new movie that he's doing with one of the former directors of that ill-fated Blade movie, Bassam Tariq. And then apparently what happened was, after Bassam Tariq kind of left the Blade version that he was working on, he was able to go and work on a different script with similar ideas in some way. There's a little bit of like conceptual overlap with what Blade would have been. And he came up with a story idea that's completely separate, and then pitched it to Mahershala Ali. And Mahershala Ali was like, "Oh, this could work. Your mother, your mother, your mother. I'm going to do that movie."
Your mother,
they're promoting
and
that.
your mother, and your mother. Yeah.
And so talking about it, he said, not, is Blade getting any closer to becoming a reality? Because, of course, people keep asking about Blade every time they possibly can. And he said, not with me. The best way I can answer this question is when I look at what it is for me, is it was either this or that, and I'll take this. No offense to them. I've been doing this professionally for pushing 30 years now. Weird wording there from Mahershala Ali. And one thing I've learned is that what is for you, and what is not is not. So he becomes a bit of like a monk in the middle there, like, what it is for me, it is. What is not for me is not. And what it is for you, and what is not for you is not. And then he said, for whatever reason, the project is not for me. So if they wanted to do it, we would have done it. I had to move on, and I have moved on. Your mother, anyway. Okay, it feels very much in alignment with the type of work I want to be known for. I don't really want to be known for remakes. Oh, doing the whole Will Smith thing. I'd love to do original work that resonates with people and impacts them in original ways. Well, he's not wrong in a lot of ways, Monique, but then let's keep going, because he said not the worst of what he had to say in terms of looking what looks bad on Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige.
I mean, Feige already called himself a loser for it. So
he did. But I feel like he was doing it in a self-deprecating way, and this now really makes Marvel and Kevin Feige actually look bad, because it's like Mahershala Ali didn't just walk away. He walked away pissed, and he is not happy with how everything turned out, because clearly he was hung out to dry for a while. And because Kevin Feige gets asked about it, sure, but he doesn't do as many interviews because he's not an actor, he's a producer. And every time he goes on a red carpet for any movie, all everybody wants to ask him about Mahershala Ali is like, what about Blade? Are you going to be Blade? I don't think he's going to, at this point, let me read out what he said, because I don't think him and Marvel are on good talking terms, unless he's lying through his face to us, which is always possible. But what he said was, so I'm good. Again, you had me under contract. They have billions of dollars. If they wanted to do the movie, we would have done the movie. So we're not doing the movie. When I look at this and Blade, I could have done both. And the reason this even exists, I couldn't have done both. And the reason this even exists is because that project fell apart, and Bassam had the time, space, and energy and focus to go and write this and then reapproach me. I was able to use those skills that I had been writing or working on for over a year, training for Blade. In that way, I feel creatively redeemed on some level, just in my own journey between me, myself, and I. But I feel ready. This is the part I think is that really matters. But I feel ready to move on from the Blade question. Those questions are for them. They didn't want to do it, so they should answer that question, John. It feels like he, if you go to the next thing, because we could put a photo of this, but I think Mahershala Ali fell out. I think he had a falling out with Marvel. This didn't just end for him with Blade. I think this ended badly. Clearly, it seems to me like he's burning some bridges here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's you know what? Not just burning a bridge. He lit the explosion and walked away putting sunglasses on like a cool guy walking away from an explosion. He's like, you know what? The shoe is on the other foot. The mic is dropped. I'm out. Get the fuck out of my way. You bum-fucked my character on Luke Cage. You never gave me the movie that you fucking promised. That's a you problem, by the way. Not me. I was waiting for the call. You never followed up. Go fuck yourself. I'm out. Peace. And now, you know what? Now, I'm gonna go see your mother in a goddamn theater. Pay full fucking price for it. Just because I majorly respect Ali for doing this, because the thing is, Mahershala Ali ain't these little motherfuckers that are just be like, oh yeah,
dude,
Marvel. He's like, no, I've been doing this shit for 30 years. I'm not taking your shit. You can either you can put me in your goddamn movie, or you could kiss my black ass while I fucking walk out the door. How about that, Kevin? Yeah. Get on your fucking knees and kiss my ass like you fucking should, you little fuck. Bam, I'm out. Fuck you. And you know what?
Yeah.
Respect. This is why I mean, I've liked Mahershala Ali for years. He's a great actor.
He's a two-time Academy Award winner. Two-time.
Yeah, two-time Academy Award winner. He doesn't take shit. He's
two-time Oscar.
I've been doing this for long. I got the clout. I could say, get the fuck out of my face. I'm out of here. So you know what? Respect. The respect I have for him as an actor is couldn't go further, yet it went further. Now it's even further. Now we're here, and I'm loving this. He's like, fine. If you don't want to do it, I'm out. Go fuck yourself.
It's just again, you look at the wording. I feel ready to move on from the Blade questions. Those questions are for them. They didn't want to do it, so they should answer that question. It's just he's like, you know what? I put it in my rearview mirror. I'm done. I'm out. Ask Kevin Feige. their fault, their problem, not mine. And yeah, it's I think to me this is just again two-time Oscar winner. And to be fair, what was it 2018 was it? I forget. Wasn't it like before Avengers Endgame came out? How long has it been since they announced him? Am I wrong about that? Like somebody remind me. Was it
It was
2018
Eternals.
that...
Eternals came out in 2021,
Oh my
and that was
God.
like around that time. So, because he was in the movie, he did a voice cameo in that fucking movie. So he was cast like sometime before then, and they were like, "Are you ready, Black Knight?" And meanwhile, we haven't seen either of these motherfuckers in the MCU since then. So, well, the thing is, they were talking about. I don't know how true this is, but I think it was confirmed by people.
Dude, it was
that literally
it
the
was 20
costumes
by the way,
they made went to
Yeah.
Sinners. Because it was supposed to be a 1920s period. Imagine a 1920s R-rated period piece Blade movie. That would have printed fucking money. Yet let's do
and
what
it was.
movie?
By the way, it was 2019. It was right before Avengers.
No,
Endgame
I know.
came
It was
out.
like
You see
it was
Tessa
before
Thompson,
that.
It was 2019. They announced it. It was 2019, 7 years ago. Like it's wild. And like remember we saw the concept art also come out for the period version, and that was like one of like I feel like 4 or 5 different versions of this movie that they had worked on. And Bassam Tariq was one of like a half a dozen directors. Like it's like this movie had a similar timeline to The Flash. Except The Flash eventually did get made, and this obviously it doesn't look like it's ever gonna happen.
I banned them.
Yeah, I'm just like again, you guys keep saying it. Like, how hard is it to make a movie?
Guy who kills
about a
vampires.
vampire?
It shouldn't be fucking hard.
Like,
Yet here we are.
And you know what? And this makes me worry even more for the Ghost Rider movie because I'm like, you got Sean Levy, you got Ryan Gosling, and I get like you're making a safer bet there, but if you couldn't figure out vampires with Blade, how are you going to figure out demons with Ghost Rider? Like it's maybe, unless they're like, now we got a, Wizard and Doctor Doom and we got Wanda maybe coming back, maybe they could figure it out, or I don't know. It's just like, was Kevin Feige being too precious with Blade?
You went out of your way and made Thor Love and Thunder and Ant-Man 3, which were both like horrendous dog shit. Yeah, you couldn't do Blade. Come on, really?
It's wild. And you know what? I think all the disappointment and anger on the part of Mahershala Ali is completely justified. And whether he's burned a bridge here or not, I think he said it.
No, he should burn a bridge. Frankly, you could go fuck yourself for that one. I'd be pissed too.
Yeah.
Like Blade is one of the most underappreciated and coolest characters in Marvel, and you could have done something really awesome with him, and you just fucking couldn't. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Mahershala Ali can maybe, come over to the DC side, like Caleb was saying. Maybe he could be a perfect Martian Manhunter. We should do a Mahershala Ali in the DCU fan casting for next Friday. That would be wild.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Dan,
Yeah. Marvel ain't escaping the allegations because Wonder Man.
No, they're not.
I'm just gonna say this outside of Black Panther, Marvel ain't escaping the allegations. Like, bro, you're kind of looking hella fucking racist right now. Mahershala Ali leaves, you cancel Wonder Man. Like, guys, come on. Black Panther is like your token shit. Like at this point, like, see, we're not racist. We have David Johnson now. It's like.
Sort of.
That's like I feel like that's the MCU equivalent of like, hey, I have one black friend. I'm not racist. Like that is essentially.
But I mean, hey, Captain America's black, but they brought Steve Rogers back. So okay, you know what? That kind of that was like they were almost there, John. They were almost there. So the ghost of Joss Whedon is.
What are we doing?
Joss Whedon is. Joss Whedon is alive, so I don't know his ghost in the sense that he's dead, but Joss Whedon is still alive, Caleb. But anyway, so yeah, Wonder Man star Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Remember we talked about yesterday that Wonder Man, it came out like it wasn't an official Marvel press release, and it looks like they didn't want that to get out because pretty much everybody found out about this right as that news broke, through one of the big outlets. And yesterday, Andrew Guest, who was the showrunner, gave his statement. Now, Destin Daniel Cretton hadn't said anything, but today he did respond and left a comment on, the announcement. Well, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II finally addressing Wonder Man season 2 being canceled. And let's go through what he said, because he had a full statement. If you can zoom in so we can read through it. But Yahya Abdul-Mateen went on his Instagram and said, word just dropped that Wonder Man won't be coming back for season 2. And I don't know, and if you don't know, now you know. That's life, right? Everybody or everything will shake out. I wanted to say thank you to everybody who watched the show, enjoyed the show, and shared that they enjoyed the show in some way or other. I love the show. This is one of the best Marvel shows ever, quite frankly.
I still gotta watch it. I got a lot of catching up to do this weekend. I gotta watch Spider Noir. I gotta watch this. I gotta watch Cape Crusader. I gotta watch all the things.
It's so fun. But like, okay, so he went on to say the show.
There's only ever gonna be one Blade. Now,
so Wonder Man himself.
That fucking joke has aged like fine wine. They really cursed the fucking Mahershala Ali movie by saying that. I blame Ryan Reynolds now. I blame Ryan Reynolds.
But talking about Wonder Man again,
Anyway,
Yahya Abdul-Mateen went on to say the show worked,
another black
and that's my
character they're
favorite thing
hanging out
about
to
it.
dry.
Yeah. He said the show worked, and that's my favorite thing about it. I could see it on the faces of the YouTube reactors because I watched along with y'all this time. Shout out to y'all, and I can see in the messages I get saying how the show reminded some of you not to give up, and I feel in the genuine love shared when I bump into some of you all during the day. So thinking of you all today, I'm glad we got to be a part of something cool. Thank you for watching, and see you at the Emmys. And you know what? See you at the Emmys. He is nominated.
It
for
would
Best
be.
Actor
I
in a
don't think it's gonna
Comedy
happen.
Series.
It's definitely not happening like now.
Yeah.
But like, it would be funny as fuck if all this happens and then he fucking wins the Emmy. That would be hilarious. I mean, to be fair, he has it's a very strong like.
It's a very strong field. I mean, I don't know if he's
very
gonna
strong,
win,
but like, it would be so fucking funny if like, not like Marvel cares about awards or anything like that, but it would be mad funny if it was just like, all right, you cancel the show, but then turns out he won an Emmy. Ooh, you suck.
So let me actually, you know what, John, go to my screen for a second if you can switch, because I wanted to kind of go through like what are his chances at winning an Emmy, right? So now, if Marvel and Disney knew they were going to not renew it for season 2, because clearly they announced it, then they changed their mind for whatever reason we don't know. If they knew that this was only going to become a limited series, they would have submitted it in the anthology limited series category. Because there you got Riz Ahmed from Bait, Jason Bateman from Black Rabbit, Oscar Isaac from Beef, Charlie Hunnam for the Ed Gein story, and then Matthew Rhys from The Beast in Me. I feel like he would have gone in here. I don't know who he would have gone in here. Maybe Jason Bateman, maybe Oscar Isaac, who knows? But Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
I would say Charlie Hunnam because I didn't hear good things about the Ed Gein story.
This could work. This could have been like where he could have had a chance. Now it's still a very competitive category. Now let me just quickly skip over and see if I could find the category where he is nominated. So that is here, lead actor in a comedy series, of course. Because Marvel thought they were going to do a second season. He's up against Steve Carell, Jason Segel, Matthew Rhys, again for a different show, and Martin Short. Now, honestly, I feel like he still has a pretty good shot at winning this. Widow's Bay is probably his biggest competition. Matthew Rhys there. He could pick up 2 Emmys this year, but I mean, Jason Segel has been nominated before for Shrinking. Steve Carell, Rooster is the first season, and then of course Martin Short. I think Martin Short might have already won the Emmy before.
So I would say this: the only then I guess the only major competition is Matthew Rhys. Then, so you know, I think because I've heard Widow's Bay is very good.
But it's not really like a comedy either. It's like a really dark comedy. It's like The Bear. Like it's a bit of a reach putting it in that category, but I don't know.
I guess so. But hey, the fucking Martian won Golden Globe for best fucking musical or comedy. So like anything can happen, all right? He's like, I don't really know what. Yeah. And Matt Damon's like, I didn't really think this was a comedy, but sure, I guess I'll take it. But
there was jokes in it, and that was Golden Globes, by the way. But yes, fair. I mean, Widow's Bay, I had to start next. After I'm going to finish Silo Season 3, I'm going to catch up on Slow Horses last season, and then I'm going to get to Widow's Bay. So, and I know they're making a Season 2, so that's also good that, you know, I know I've got something else to get to. But John, it is really kind of a tragedy, in my opinion, that Wonder Man is not going to have a Season 2. We talked about it yesterday, like maybe why it's not going to happen. If you go back to the Yahya Abdul-Mateen post, I mentioned that obviously now Andrew Guest, the showrunner, has talked about this publicly. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II has talked about it. I don't think Sir Ben Kingsley really has a social media presence, or he does all that stuff. But Destin Daniel Cretton hadn't really said anything. But I think on his Instagram post here, when Yahya posted, Destin Daniel Cretton had a comment, so he replied and liked the post from Yahya Abdul-Mateen, and I think he said like, "Love that man." So the fact that we haven't really heard an official statement from Destin Daniel Cretton, I know he's busy probably with everything that's going on around Brand New Day right now, but I have a feeling that he also either was caught off guard or just is really disappointed, so he hasn't really put out a statement yet. Or maybe he's working on some way to bring the character back in another fashion. So if you go back to the comic book movie.com article, I think that's where they mention Destin Daniel Cretton hasn't put out his own statement. The fact that he was really, the creator of the show, and the only thing he has done is he's like commented on Yaya's post, which is, I have a feeling that he's not happy either, because they were trying to figure it out, and I guess Marvel just canceled the show for whatever reason. So, I mean, they got nominated for an Emmy, like if for that reason alone. But then again, the Penguin season 2 may not be happening either, and they actually won an Emmy. So I don't know, like maybe an Emmy doesn't really give you that kind of pull.
That was still categorized as a limited series because season 2 was never a surefire thing.
This, on the other hand, is the opposite. Like, they announced the season 2 and then they decided not to do it. So anyway, but John, the worst part about all this, Josh Gad, he's just lost in the MCU, and it's terrible
fuck Josh
news.
Gad. He sucks.
We're never gonna find Josh Gad in the MCU. Like, that one episode in the show. You're not gonna get this reference until you see the show.
No, I know the context of
it.
Like,
it's hilarious. Like, Josh Gad is never gonna be found in the MCU, which sucks. But
I know they got to replace him for the Frozen 3 in the MCU and be like, oh, there we go. What are we doing?
I appreciate that Wonder Man season 1 still exists. It is a bummer that season 2 won't happen. And you know what? It's fine. No, Josh Gad's got the asshole. He's got the Schwartz saga that he's a part of, so I'm sure he'll be okay. Anyway, let's move on. We got more Marvel news, John. Now we talk about Secret Wars, especially how it connects to potentially Spider-Man Brand New Day. Why don't you walk us through this? There's like 3 pieces here. The first one,
he thinks Marvel has purposely not told them anything because they don't want it spoiled. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the house Tom you built for yourself, Tom. He went on vacation a month ago with Joe Russo and learned nothing. So yeah.
Yeah, so this was in a Variety article. Tom Holland was like, I have no idea what's happening in Avengers Secret Wars. And even after he went on vacation with Joe Russo, which I don't know why you would go on vacation with Joe Russo, but anyway, he learned nothing. So I have a feeling they're doing this just because, he's got leaky lips and he's going to spoil everything. So, like, remember he almost spoiled the ending for Brand New Day in that interview, and then like Zendaya and Jacob Batalon were like, no. And he's like, no, I didn't even say anything. And he's like, okay, cool. So I'm not surprised that they haven't told Tom Holland anything about Secret Wars. But that doesn't stop rumors from circulating, John. Before we get to the rumors, I wanted to talk about one thing regarding Brand New Day for a second. If you go to the next article, the Hulk ends up being institutionalized, according to the news report in Brand New Day. Spoiler alert. But, after he hulks out, like, what else are they going to do? Like, obviously it seems like his days as a professor at ESU are done. But what do you think that means for the future of the Hulk? Like, do you think that means that he's definitely not going to be in Doomsday because he's in a psychiatric ward somewhere, like locked up or something? Because I don't know, like, we were finally happy to see the Hulk, but it feels like they're putting him away for a little while, no? Like, or do you think he's going to be back for one of the Avengers films?
I mean, maybe eventually, but for now, I think that it's like kind of convenient of like, oh, hey, he's in an asylum. We can't use him. Like, that's like, it gives like a plausible reason of like, whoa, why didn't the Hulk show up? So, yeah, I could see that happening.
Because I'm like, they've got all the inhibitor technology now. Like, he literally had one himself, and then the one Spider-Man built. Why can't you just put that on and all of a sudden Bruce Banner is Bruce Banner again? I'm like, it's right there, but I don't know. Maybe we don't know the whole story because all we saw was like a news report on a TV in the movie. So maybe what's actually happening, there's more to it. Maybe Wong breaks him out. Because remember that one scene with Shang-Chi when Wong brought him in to meet with Bruce Banner. So Bruce does know the Sorcerer Supreme. So maybe he's not going to be in there for very long, whatever prison they've got him in. Speaking of which, I know this rumor is coming from My Time to Shine, so you can take it with a grain of salt, John, but they did say that not Avengers Doomsday, but John Bernthal's Punisher, as well as Tom Holland's Spider-Man, Sadie Sink's Jean Grey, and of course Bruce Banner's Hulk, they will all return in Avengers Secret Wars. Are you surprised? Are they going to be like on your left and then to walk out all together? Like Spider-Man in the middle, and on his right is the Hulk, and then you got the Punisher with the gun, and then you got, of course, Jean Grey in there somewhere too. Like, would you be surprised if there's I don't know if there's gonna be a portal scene in Secret Wars, but do you believe this rumor that all four of these heroes
Why the
are
fuck
gonna be
would
back?
Punisher show up? Like, maybe maybe Peter Parker, or maybe the Hulk, maybe Jean Grey, but like the Punisher, why the fuck would the Punisher show up? It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a rumor, and My Time to Shine is not known for a lot of accurate reporting, and so they're probably just guessing, but they're probably going to have every hero and their mother in Avengers Secret Wars, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them there. If I had to pick, though, I think Spider-Man is most likely, and then beyond that, maybe the Hulk, but Punisher. Jean Grey, I think she's actually already listed in IMDb, but again, it's unreliable before the movie comes out. Jean Grey probably will be there because they want to probably build into the X-Men. So we have seen that concept art, that leaked concept art for Secret Wars, where you see it like a village of Hulks, which is like the closest we're gonna get to Greenland in the comics. So if all that plays out, then yeah, Hulk would be there, Spider-Man would be there, Jean Grey would be there. The question would really be whether Punisher would be there, but that's we'll see. But that's still a year away. Figuring saying, Georgie is already rumored to be in Secret Wars. I know, right? Yeah, where is she? Oh, they're playing. Georgie and Cricket are playing. But yeah, I know Georgie might be in the movie too. She might be a Flurkin for all I know. You never know. Maybe she is a Flurkin. But anyway, John, we got to talk about one more thing. I think this one, if you're a fan of Marvel Comics, you might enjoy. Or not. Because you know how Marvel is doing their own version of the Absolute Universe? So we've got some more looks at some of the characters with new covers. So let's go through those real quick before we move on from Marvel, finally. We got a Black Cat cover.
Not a lot, but enough.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a peek there.
Yeah, and then we got Midnight Spider-Man.
And Arachnophobia Nightmare.
A little bit more of Black Cat. And then we got some X-Men stuff, like a very simple...
Cyclops. Is that Cyclops?
One.
That looks like a very different kind of Cyclops.
Looks like if I was Cyclops.
Huh? Yeah.
But then this
Nightcrawler?
is
That's
Nightcrawler in like a church, so that makes sense. And then Iceman made of blood. Very cool.
Very, very absolute. Fantastic Four.
Then we got Midnight Fantastic Four, and that's it. Awesome.
Cool. Interesting stuff indeed. All right, well, there you go. We talked about a little bit of Marvel Comics, which there isn't much to talk about there these days. But on that note, let us know what you thought about all the Marvel news, because we're going to move on. Let's talk about the Odyssey, John. That's where we go next, because, of course, despite the fact that Spider-Man is blowing up the box office charts, the Odyssey isn't doing all that bad for itself. The craze continues because they put out a few new screenings at the BFI IMAX theater in the UK, the British Film Institute. And those new screenings, John, sold out in, no surprise, under 30 minutes. Like, it's do you believe it? Like, are you surprised at this point that 2 weeks in, they're still selling these out 30 minutes or less? I feel like that's a little too long. In the US, that might have gone even faster. Like, it's crazy. That's wild. To answer your question, M2G, is there any way they didn't already start filming Secret Wars while filming Doomsday? There is a way. I mean, they did it with, I'm pretty sure they shot some stuff that overlapped for Infinity War and Endgame as well. So it's very possible. And as far as post-production goes, they keep saying they're going to keep working on it until they take it out of their hands. It is going to be weird, though. If you're filming the next one, how can you also be editing the previous one? So you have a good point. They probably have some overlap, but honestly, I don't expect the Russo brothers to be out and about for most of the promotional campaign for Doomsday. They're probably going to just have the actors be out there, Kevin Feige be out there. they'll probably show up to the premiere and a few other events, but then outside of that, they're just going to be focused on making the next one. So, and because quite frankly, you don't need to do a whole worldwide global tour with your actors flying to a dozen different cities. Like Avengers Doomsday is going to make money, sell tickets. It's already selling out theaters. So, yeah, I don't think they need to do that. I don't think they will be there for a lot of those. Joel be chicken. Nice, Steven. That sounds good. Hey, Manos Time saying, talking about Cyclops, how do you guys feel about a young X-Men in a universe filled with old Avengers members? It's a shame that they're not the same age or the Avengers will be retired. It's, you know, I hear you, but I feel like that's just the way things are right now. And Kevin Feige refuses to do a full reboot. So I'm sure we will have younger Avengers and, you know, future generations and whatnot. Maybe they'll reboot a Steve Rogers or Tony Stark down the line, but it is what it is, you know. Honestly, it is what it is. But yeah, just send out Kevin. Right. I have a feeling Kevin Feige will be on the marketing trail more than the Russos will be, because they'll be busy, you know, going between one and the other movie. So, but I mean, John, just to kind of showcase how crazy people still are to see the Odyssey. Not only did it sell out in less than 30 minutes with the new screenings that the BFI put up, if you go to the next link, I picked up somebody who was actually gonna go to the BFI screenings, and they sat there with the queue being like 21,207 people that were ahead of them. And it said the arrival time on the website was more than an hour. That's wild. Like, it's just crazy. Like 21,000 people in a virtual queue for just a few new screenings. No wonder we can't get ourselves any Odyssey screenings in 70mm. Like it's like buying a ticket to a Taylor Swift concert. Like, it's crazy. By the way, Steven, I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige has said that Wolverine will not appear in the X-Men movie, because he sees this like as much bigger as a franchise. So they're gonna spread the characters out. So he's not gonna be in the first X-Men movie. And I think Hugh Jackman is sticking around as Wolverine anyway, so there's no chance they're doing a young Wolverine, at least not anytime soon. But I mean, John, are you surprised? Like, Spider-Man Brand New Day is out, but there's still 21,000 people waiting in a queue to buy BFI IMAX tickets for the Odyssey.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And how much you want to bet most of those people are scalpers?
Maybe a good chunk of them. But, you know, like it definitely feels like, you know, the news headlines when the Taylor Swift concerts were going wild.
We know it's not going well. Possibly the Odyssey. No, I'm just kidding. But like,
so
you know,
this is a bit of a misnomer, because the Odyssey is going to finally take a 50 to 60% weekend drop from last weekend to this weekend, partly because it's lost a lot of the premium showtimes in like the Dolby and ScreenX and all those like big 3D formats to Spider-Man. But John, it still has IMAX, and I think the Odyssey will be just fine if you go to the next link, because despite the fact that a 50 to 60% drop might seem significant, overall, it looks like in its third weekend, the Odyssey will still only get like a 40-something% drop. And so it's still set to make 50 million or more in its third weekend. I remember Deadline earlier said they're expecting a $52 million third weekend for the Odyssey, and that's only going to be a 42% drop from the previous week. I think that's amazing for a movie that's going up against Spider-Man Brand New Day that might make over $360 million. If you can still make only 40% less than your previous weekend, and that's over $50 million, the Odyssey is doing more than enough. Like, and it's its third weekend. If this was a second weekend, I'd be more worried, but like the Odyssey almost made another 100 million in its second weekend. So like, it's already made plenty of money. It's past $700 million. It's gonna be $1 billion movie. I don't think Universal is sweating it right now. I think they've achieved a lot of what they already set out to, and at this point, it's all gravy from here. So let's keep going. In fact, John, when you look at, you know, the third weekend right now, it's projected to again become one of the best third weekends for Nolan. Already, you got the second biggest, the biggest second Thursday in Nolan's career, the second biggest second Thursday for July release. So it's already beating some records. In fact, it's Thursday this week beat Top Gun Maverick's second Thursday. So yeah, it's doing well. I think the Odyssey is going to be just fine. In fact, John, the Odyssey just beat the Joker's box office and domestic as well. So if you go to the next thing, or is this the one where it mentions it? Yeah, it just beat if you go to the very top, it's actually right there. The Odyssey just beat the Joker's domestic run, all-time domestic run. So we keep talking about the Joker and how Clayface could do Joker-like numbers. If you go to the very top of this list, all the way to the top, it does mention that now with 300 and I think it's past 340 million by the end of this weekend, is gonna surpass the $335 million Joker domestic box office. So I think it will get to $1 billion. I don't know if it's gonna struggle to get there when like people are still tripping over themselves to get tickets to the movie. But Spider-Man Brand New Day is eating everybody else's lunch at a rate that nobody thought it was going to be. So I definitely think it will slow it down a little bit, but I still think the Odyssey makes $1 billion or more. We were talking about 1.5 billion a couple of days ago. I think it's very possible. It's only in its third weekend right now. It's not even in its third week. So yeah, in less than 21 days of release, it's already made over $700 million. The Odyssey will be fine. But John, there was one other story. Do you want to walk us through this next one? This was kind of fun. The Odyssey, not only making money itself, but also helping a lot of the locations where it's shot make a ton of money too.
So apparently it's luring tourists to the Sicilian island that stands in for Ithaca and could generate $500 million. That's nice.
I'd like to fly there.
They're like,
Sicily.
holy shit, it's so much brighter here. No, I'm just kidding. But so much more colorful. But no, I'm just kidding. I don't. That's not.
Don't be like Caleb, John. Don't be like Caleb.
No, I'm just kidding. I think it was very colorful and very bright.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool.
That is cool. $500 million in revenue. That's wild. So,
I mean, they're most likely rich, so they are.
Dude,
suckers,
also,
but,
like Sicily is a beautiful place. Unless you get involved with the mob, but like Sicily is a beautiful place, and if you haven't had a chance to go there, and obviously the movie showcases it, so yeah, I'm sure a lot of people this time of year still are taking their summer holiday vacations. I'm sure a lot of people are going to Scotland too. Probably not as many, but the northern parts of Scotland are so beautiful. Like the hills, like Supergirl shot in Scotland. Obviously, the Odyssey did too. So many movies shoot up there. Right now, the Batman Part 2 is shooting in Glasgow. So, and they're not going to be the only ones. Probably right now, there's probably half a dozen movies shooting up there, if not more. So, yeah. Italy and Scotland, great tourist destinations. So we're going to leave the Odyssey talk there. Let's talk about the business of Hollywood, John. A couple of updates regarding the Warner Brothers Discovery merger with Paramount that may or may not happen now with everything that's going on, the lawsuits. But let's talk about that for a moment, because there was an update from the Puck, which also, then Variety picked it up earlier today. And this is something that has to do with now that the case is going to go to trial. The judge asked all sides to kind of figure out when do you want to set what schedule do you want for the trial. Can you figure it out amongst yourselves, or am I going to have to impose one on you guys? So now that all sides have submitted their timelines, Paramount has asked the judge to schedule its upcoming antitrust trial against a 12-state coalition. And of course, the writers, they want to have it start, Paramount wants to have it start in November. And the Writers Guild of America, as well as the 12 state attorney generals, they want it to start in April of next year. So, of course, the reason why this matters is because Paramount is going to start owing after September 30th every day $7 million to the Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders, which works out to a pretty hefty sum for each day. And obviously, if it goes on for the 9 months or more. So Paramount wants the trial to start in November. The other guy, the state attorneys and the Writers Guild wanted to start in April. I'm not surprised that, Paramount wants it to be done and out of the way soon. But hello, Dark Lead Eric. I mean, John, maybe the judge should split it down the middle, like your fake is saying. Just put it in January. That would be like right between November and April, and just start of the year as well. Like, why not? Obviously, Paramount wants to get this done as fast as possible so they can spend the least amount of extra money.
I would prefer April because I'm all for the Writers Guild, but
me too. I'm like, hell, like skip.
Nah, it should be April 2045. I think that's when we should schedule it. Got a problem with that chode with lips?
Yeah. By that point, one of these studios would have ceased to exist. But anyway, let's keep going, because there's one other thing. One other thing that I wanted to mention. Now, this Puck News was talking about, they were saying that, remember guys, Warner Brothers Discovery can still walk away with a $7 billion payday if this lawsuit ultimately holds up and it blocks the merger, because in the deal that Paramount made with Warner Brothers, they had said that they're going to cover $1.5 billion in the financing that Warner Brothers had put together for the Netflix deal. They already paid the $2.8 billion on behalf of Warner Brothers to Netflix to break up the Netflix deal. But then Warner Brothers had refinanced their debt to go ahead with this deal, and that the financing cost is the 1.5 billion. And then on top of that, Paramount has agreed to pay 5.8 billion to Warner Brothers as part of the termination fee in case regulatory, holdups cause the merger to not happen. So if you do the math, 1.5 plus 5.8 is like 7.3 billion. So if this doesn't happen, Paramount is going to owe another 7 billion and some change to Warner Brothers. So I'm like, hey, you know what, Warner Brothers, I hope you get $7 billion from Paramount next year, and we call it a day and we move on. That's what I'm hoping for. Puck News giving us the update. If you go to the next thing, John, if you go to the Puck News article itself, they were talking about something interesting. Because there's currently some legislation in the California state legislature that's being put together that kind of is meant to upgrade the antitrust laws in the state of California. And that could mean the Warner Mount case could just be the beginning of the state attorney like going after a lot of other mergers and acquisitions. Like we've talked about Letterboxd, we've talked about Lionsgate, all these other studios and production companies wanting to sell themselves off, NBC Universal wanting to maybe like go out there and buy somebody or get sold off itself. This new law called the Compete Act is going to be a dramatic expansion of the state's landmark antitrust law that could threaten the way Hollywood does business, from theatrical windows to multi-film talent contracts, or to simply refusing to license content to competitors. Now, they're expecting a lot of lobbying against this, because basically what this is going to do is going to grant the state attorneys generals a lot more power to get in the way of any kind of deal that's going to cause any kind of monopoly or monopolization in any part of the industry. So it's going to give the states a lot more power. And so maybe California is playing the long game here, John. Maybe Rob Bonta, he wasn't just in it to defeat this particular merger. Maybe he wants to change the way Hollywood actually operates. So, fingers crossed. I mean, if you're, one for, increased competition and, fewer mega conglomerates, then I hope this law passes, but they're probably going to, do a lot of lobbying against it, all these studios. But you're fake saying, I think the shareholders will still wait it out. One of other shares were worth around $10 a share before the offers. Yeah, that's true. Cause I mean, it's a pretty dark reality for Warner Brothers shareholders if this Paramount deal falls through, because that share value is going to drop like a rock, like potentially even below $10. So I have a feeling Warner Brothers will stick it out for as long as they can. What's more likely to happen is Paramount might walk away, and then Warner Brothers will have no choice but to take the money and just be like, all right, well, I guess we go back to spinning off Discovery, and all the cable networks, and then maybe they'll be back in the market again to be sold off in a few years' time. It wouldn't be good for Warner Brothers, but obviously they will still go on as a company. Yeah, there you go, Eric. Thank you. I just wanted to cover that a little bit. It's a small detail, but if you're in California, it's going to matter, especially if you work in the entertainment industry. But yeah, I mean, of course, Gavin Newsom wants the deal to pass, because this is going to be a big flower in his bouquet or whatever for when he's potentially going to be running for president in a few years' time. And he's going to definitely use that, in his campaign if this gets passed. But anyway, we'll leave that there for now. John, let's walk through the quick hits. Let's run through the quick hits. I'm going to hit the quick hits music, and you do the talking.
So Street Fighter first clip reveals Jason Momoa's CG Blanca versus Andrew Koji as Ryu. Cool. Nice.
I saw this. Looks fun. That looks like Jason Momoa as Hulk, but nice. Yeah. I'm still kind of split on
definitely they definitely took a picture where they took a screenshot where he looked his most derpiest, but the clip looks good. But yeah, good stuff. Anyway,
cool.
Apparently Indy Navarrete says her TikTok username Mr. Bombastic is a reference to Biggie Cheese.
Do you remember Barnyard? I remember that sequence in Barnyard. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my guilty pleasure movies. I didn't put it in my mouth.
I watched the
more,
show a lot.
But I
as a
fucking
kid,
love
but...
Barnyard, and then the sequence in it with the Mr. Bombastic, because it was around the time that Mr. Bean's Holiday came out.
I'm gonna say it wrong even more now, just out of spite. Blanca.
But dude, Mr. Bean's Holiday came out and also had the same song, and when Mr. Bean's dancing to it, and then like this Barnyard came out, and I just love that Indian Alred like gets it, because like she's in our generation, so I'm like, okay, this is perfect. Yep. Let me put the video.
Yeah, the male cow with udders.
Yeah. TikTok username Mr.
Mr.
Bombastic.
Yes.
Mr. Bombastic. Fantastic.
That is why. It's the rat that's in Barnyard.
What made you label the TikTok like that?
What's the difference? I feel like vibe-wise for this thing. No, my other TikTok got deleted. So this one, I was like, I'm just gonna have fun with it. Everybody has a spam account, whatever. Nobody's gonna find
Silly
this.
goose account, yeah.
Then everybody found it.
Now you have a lot of followers on Mr. Bombastic. People are pulling up.
Exactly, and I was like, oh, right. Perfect.
It is perfect. And you know what? It just makes her all the more relatable. I'm like, this is great.
You know, I'm all for the relatable Gen Z peeps. Her and Millie Alcock need to do a movie together, just as like besties, just conquering the world. That would be the greatest movie ever.
That would be greatest. Yeah.
But yeah, apparently Toy Story 5 is ready to be Avengers Age of Ultron. Moana 2 and A New Hope runs this weekend at number 27, the highest grossing film of all time at the US box office. Good for them. Yay. Great. Kill me now. Tangled set photos first look at WandaVision star. Okay. Catherine Hahn deserves better than WandaVision star.
Honestly,
Get the fuck out of
I
here.
could totally see her in the role. When you scroll down to the photo, as
Mother Gothel.
What I thought
Here's
she
the thing.
would look like.
People have been saying she should be live action Mother Gothel since the movie came out. Like, you know.
I know. And she looks exactly like how you would expect her to look like, and I am here for it. That is perfect. She is Mother Gothel. So, yes. Catherine Hahn, you go. Catherine Hahn is GOAT. Remember she was in Parks and Rec? I loved every episode she was a part of.
Okay, I never watched.
Remember
it,
that?
so.
Remember no, because that's when what's the Chris Pratt character, like Burt
Andy.
something FBI.
Oh,
like,
Burt
he's
Macklin.
Andy. Burt Macklin, FBI. That character was in one of those like episodes of Catherine Hahn. Great.
Yeah,
Perfect
it's like pretty much
casting,
the
great
only
actress.
reason people are going to go see this movie is because of Catherine Hahn as Mother
Catherine
Gothel.
Hahn.
Like,
Yeah.
nobody gives a fuck about the
Perfect
rest of this
casting.
movie, but they do care about her. So, yeah.
Yeah, love it.
But,
I'm
I
liking
mean,
the look of the movie. Honestly,
the look
I'm
of the
okay
movie
with
looks
this.
fine. Like, I'm not going to go see it,
Yeah.
but, like, it looks better than, like, Moana and Snow White. Not
I'm gonna
saying
go
much,
see it
but-
because I want to see Catherine Hahn as Mother Gothel, and
Yeah,
she's
worst
just
comes to
old.
worst, if it seems good, I'll fucking ride the high seas. Anyway, John Legend to play Harry Belafonte in Hugh Masekela apartheid struggle biopic The Road Home. Okay.
If you go down here in the second paragraph, because Hugh Masekela was a significant figure during the apartheid, activism movement in South Africa in the 60s, especially after he got exiled after the 1960 Sharpeville massacre. So he was a seminal figure, and this is, of course, was a big part of, taking down those discriminatory laws.
Right.
And, I mean, I don't know how good of an actor John Legend is, but I'm excited to see that they're making.
I mean, he was in La La Land. He was okay in that.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, it was fine.
But I mean, hey, I'm excited. I'm excited for this, and I think Eric is as well. this will be a fun movie.
Sure.
I'll have to look for it, though.
Colson Whitehead's Harlem Trilogy TV show is in development at Apple. Don't know what this
it's like
is.
a
Don't know
book
who
series.
he is,
if you,
but
if you
good for
scroll
him.
down, there's a book series that he worked on. So, to Harlem Shuffle, Crook Manifesto, and then the recently published Cool Machine. So there's 3 books. The latest one isn't even, it just came out July 21st, and it actually made it onto Obama's summer reading list. So the whole trilogy, I hope they adapt. Maybe they'll do a seasonal thing, or like Silo has a 3-book trilogy. They're doing it in 3 seasons, so we'll see. Yeah.
Ooh. But yeah, good for him. Benny Safdie's Lizard Music with Dwayne Johnson adds newcomer Arya Parvathy. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but
Wait,
cool.
Parvati, Arya Parvati. Yep.
Parvati, okay. Nice.
That's good. I mean, that movie keeps adding stars. Good stuff.
Yeah. Scott Eastwood recalls entitled co-star who exited movie mid-production, "Don't be a piece of shit." Yeah.
Yeah, he was. What movie? What movie is he talking about? Because he was really like, this guy was like a real.
The only one I
POS.
know of, like, wasn't it that Joaquin Phoenix movie that he left? Like, but I don't know if that was middle of filming or prior to filming.
I think that was before it started. No, like I was trying to find it on his like IMDb. Like, what is he got coming out soon? Don't they mention that he recently worked on a movie?
Lucky Strike. Yeah, I saw a trailer for that. It looks very Angel Studios-esque, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that could be it. I don't know if there was somebody who was in that movie that left or whatever, but sure. I guess.
But I mean, I agree with him because you know, you're essentially, because of your ego, you're gypping people out of a job, out of a payday because you're an asshole. So I agree with him.
Yeah. I mean, Phoenix left like 2 or 3 movies recently. There was the M. Night movie as well. So. And
which was honestly honestly good, because James McAvoy did a fucking probably would have done a way better job than he did anyway. So Angel Studio is like it's known as like a Catholic propaganda studio. That's not exactly the case, but the vibe is like they do like shitty cheap indie movies that nobody really watches. So
well, that's not entirely true. Like,
except for Young
made a lot
fucking
of money.
Washington, because you know.
Then also, what was the one about like child trafficking?
Sound of Freedom, that got all the fucking events wrong in the movie, and the people that were actually involved were like, "This is fucking stupid." So good times.
Yeah. And they've got a new Reagan movie coming out later this year.
Said, "I love how Destin Daniel Cretton uses the wider universe in his MCU project. Instead of relying on cameos, he uses familiar characters to create an authentic, lived-in Marvel universe where it feels like everyone is living their own lives, all without overshadowing the main hero."
And you know what? That's great, and that's why Destin Daniel Cretton is the real Marvel Jesus, because he knows how to like make
fuck
the
you,
MCU
Ryan Reynolds.
feel like a
fuck Mayday,
like a lived-in world.
Fuck Deadpool 4. Get out of here.
I mean, dude, I kind of forgot that the Abomination and Wong showed up in Shang-Chi, and then later on we see that same relationship expanded on in She-Hulk. So, and obviously in Brand New Day you see all these other characters, but the focus of the movie still is on Spider-Man. It's just you notice that, okay, so the wider MCU exists and we can have these people weave in and out, and you gotta balance it in a way where you don't take the focus on the main story away.
I'm happy Sethman has friends.
So I mean, I think Destin Daniel Cretton is Marvel Jesus, and Kevin Feige should, you know, make sure he keeps him around, which is why I'm wondering what's going on with the whole Wonder Man season 2 cancellation, because that probably did not go over well with him. So
yeah,
fingers crossed.
Irish indie film Lemonade, starring Barry Keoghan, reveals first images and plot details. So
I saw this. Looks nice.
Kim Bartley in her narrative feature debut set amid Ireland's care system. The film is described as a story about first love, second chances, and the power of human connection. So typical indie fare, but sounds nice, I guess.
Hey, Barry Keoghan, anything he's in, it's usually a good movie. So
yeah, and then the Academy sharing stuff about Spider-Man. Why? I don't know, but cool for them, I guess.
Giving a shout out to Spider-Man. There you go, Tom Holland. Good for the Academy.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to be more social media relevant.
Apparently, Christopher Nolan and Robert Pattinson are neighbors, and they share movie nights together. That's fun. I bet you, like, Nolan is like that meme of like, I lied. We're watching the entire Fast and the Furious franchise. Take a seat.
I believe it, John. He said Rob and I were old friends at this point, and we actually became neighbors, so we have the odd movie night together and stuff. Rob and Suki are wonderful people. I wonder if you know, Nolan has ever gotten a FaceTime from Robert Pattinson as Daddy Batman. Like, I wonder if that has happened yet, because that would be hilarious.
Hey,
like,
do you have any pointers?
Batman movie? Yeah, you got any pointers? You know, like, I was working on this scene, and I just wanted to like get your ideas on this. Like, it'd be great. Like, I can't wait for that crossover.
Yes.
Give Nolan like a producer credit. Warner Brothers would piss their pants for
consultant
that.
credit, a special thanks in the credits.
You know, they're slowly bringing Nolan back.
Apparently, John Oliver extends his HBO contract to continue Last Week Tonight through 2027. So, looks like the Stephen Colbert treatment ain't happening to John Oliver anytime soon. So we'll see what the Bucky's thing that he's doing right now, which is fucking crazy.
It's great. But also, this is only a 1-year extension, John. So he's kind of like, you know, saying, okay, I'll stick around for a year, but like if things are not looking good this time next year, then I'm out. So yeah, it you know what? I love Last Week Tonight, and I can't wait to see, you know, if he does leave, then where else does he go? But you know, we'll see who the business
YouTube.
daddy.
He'll start a podcast with
is.
Stephen Colbert and Conan O'Brien. So,
or like
yeah.
Jon Stewart, probably. But yeah.
Apparently, just now, Masters of the Universe has said goodbye to theaters, which is 50. That was fuck, goddamn, like holy shit!
Like
finally
4 months
fucking
ago?
left after 56 days. That's a decent amount of time. Like, damn. And they made $2,000 over 70 theaters this past week. Oof. But, like, damn, that's crazy, bro.
Much. Spider-Man probably made $2,000 in, like, the last 5 seconds. But, like, you know, yeah, hey. And it is #1 on Amazon Prime's, you know, global charts. So it's doing well on streaming, but finally it looks like it's out of theaters. So, yeah. Good stuff. MGM committed to the theatrical experience. I'm glad that one of the OG studios of Hollywood is alive and well under Amazon, despite the fact that, you know, Amazon still is doing some shitty things with it. But I have hope. Almost 2 months, John, despite the fact that
it could be worse.
And burn.
It could be Warner Brothers. So, you know.
Speaking of it, John, that's where we're going next. We're gonna talk all DC stuff.
It is already on fucking Prime. Put a bullet in my fucking frontal lobe. That's going to be fun. But, you know, thanks for watching, guys. We're going to head to DCU Daily, where I'm going to probably have, like, suicidal thoughts the entire fucking time. But, you know, that's just how it is being a DC fan, period, in this day and age. So, you know, let's get this shit started, because James Gunn might be saying we're hashtag blessed, but at this point, we're feeling hashtag fucking cursed.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chorus.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto. Hunka hunka!
Yeah, what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad? Yeah, well, I might as well be at this point. But yeah, hey, welcome on in to another episode of DCU Daily. If you've been watching the news portion, of course, you know, we talked Marvel for like 2 hours, but like, hey, the rest of the night is DC related, because not only is it DCU Daily now, but right after DCU Daily, we're going to be talking all about DCU stuff on Fancast Friday, because you guys voted for Damson Idris in the DCU, so we'll get to that as well. But of course, I'm your host. We got some Superman stuff today. We definitely have a good amount of Lantern stuff. The big thing is the Booster Gold stuff, but you know, we also have some Supergirl bits of information, so lots to get into. With me, of course, as always, I got John. What are you looking forward to talking about?
I'm not looking forward to fucking ending. I'm looking forward to ending the show. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the credits. I'm looking forward to say fuck everybody and moving the fuck on, because there's nothing but pain and misery for, you know, what we have going on right here. So, you know.
All right, well, let's get to the Parrots, Pelicans, and Ducks of DCU News, the DC Quick Hits.
So, yeah, we got Jon
By the
Stewart
way, that hologram looks pretty cool,
Hal
though.
Jordan.
Like,
yeah,
that
it
whole
looks
thing,
good, but like this was Lanterns at San Diego Comic-Con. Fucking Aaron Pierre, fucking having some sort of emotion. Great stuff. But yeah, good. I mean, the show will be ass, but you know, hey, that's fun. Oh, I didn't know Garrett Dillahunt showed up too. I didn't realize that.
Dude, he was there the whole time. How did you not know?
I didn't know. We didn't fucking talk about him. We talked about
but
Kyle,
he was
we
like
talked
on
about
the
Aaron,
panel.
we talked about Porna. He wasn't there. I didn't.
He was sitting right next to Purna Jagannathan the whole time.
I didn't fucking see him. Nobody.
He was in the interviews we looked at. It was anyway. Okay, I'm just saying. You guys must have noticed, but yes.
I love Green Lautner. Okay, what is Taylor Lautner playing Green Lantern now?
I don't know.
Pierre was caught having
emotions.
Yeah, it's dark. I don't give a fuck. I'll tell you all the damn things. I'll tell you all the damn things. Anyway, hey, like one of the few good things DC has going on right now, My Adventures with Superman, and it's fucking anime garbage. Great, fun. But apparently Laura Lane, the daughter of Clark and Lois, is fucking in here too, I guess, because like they introduced multiverse in season 1, they're introducing time travel season 3. They're literally doing all the things they tell you not to do in a show, so it looks like you're not jumping the shark fucking immediately. But like, all right, great, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't fucking watch this show.
John took a dark lantern for the worst. Thank you for that figure drawing. Okay, but like, hey, we don't just have Laura Lane, of course, in the show. We also have Jonathan Lane. So you got the
Yeah,
kids
but
of
nobody
Soups
cares about him.
together.
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? And look how dark and emo they look. It's fucking great, guys. But I'm glad they have the leather jacket. I will say, leather jacket for the win. So
leather jacket for the win.
yeah.
You know what? I also miss Zack Snyder. But
I don't. Okay, calm down. It's not that bad. Let's not be rash. Let's not be rash. All right.
Caleb said it.
Let's
like,
not be
what
rash.
can we do?
Okay. You know,
Yeah.
I'd still rather have Supergirl than whatever the fuck Man of Steel was. So you know what? We're good. But hey, Caleb wasn't the first one to recommend Martian Manhunter. James Gunn,
right there, John.
You got your Martian Manhunter right here. And also Wonder Man, now Blade. Oh baby, I'm too woke.
He could be like he could be Black Manta again, you know, or he could be a Black Aquaman.
Yeah, he could be Black Manta again. I'd love to see it, but yeah, bring just make all like Anthony Mackie in the DCU since they fucking sidelined him. Whoever the fuck, you know, is playing Photon or Binary
honestly,
or whatever, like Black
I'm
Captain
just
Marvel
saying,
is. Bring her, Teyona Paris, I think her name is. Like, bring her to the DCU. We'll treat you better than the shit fucks down the street.
Like,
even though we're already
of...
apparently we're like a dead franchise. 2024 to 2026, we're done. Bye.
But I'm just saying, outside of Black Panther, you know, the best Black superhero going right now is Mr. Terrific, and that's in the DCU already. So, you know, I trust.
He's goddamn Mr. Terrific.
Goddamn.
Yeah, too bad. Like,
goddamn,
he's not going to get that show, and we're never going to get a good DC project ever again. But you know, that's okay. Because speaking of bad bad DC projects, we got Batman Cape Crusader. It's streaming now, so you can see more of Bruce Timm's weird garbage that nobody wants to see. But here we are.
Hey, John's gonna watch it over the weekend, so we can review
Yeah,
it
I'm going to tell you how bad it is, or maybe it'll surprise me. I don't know. I hope it's good.
Maybe it will surprise you. There's 10 episodes worth, John. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah, I just hope it remains like 20 something episodes so I could just binge this shit like super easily. Because like, oh my god,
can you wait for Oswaldo Cobb? Oswaldo Cobb was like the favorite.
Oswald, yeah, like they didn't even try. Like, oh, Olivia Cobb. Okay, put an A on that shit. Oswaldo. That's not even a fucking name. I fucking hate Bruce Timm so much.
They didn't want to confuse you, John. They were just like, it's the Penguin, but just like a lady.
Well, at least on the East Coast, Central, and I think maybe Pacific or Mountain or whatever. For some people, it is out because it came out yesterday, July 31st.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Cape Crusader. The spirit is there. It's just Bruce Timm is a part of it, so it's gonna be ass. Also, J.J. Abrams. Also, the guy who can't give us a fucking Batman movie on time. But sure,
Matt Reeves. Yeah, they're all part of the production, the producers group on that show. It's on Amazon Prime. Go watch it if you want to. We'll talk about it on Monday. Yeah, remember, kids, when writing a female character, you add an A to the end of the name, and then boom, a female character. Yes. That is the logic that they applied in that show.
The Banguin.
Call her the Banguin, the proper name, John. The Banguin. That's a great name.
Yeah, but like you can't write for shit.
Are good. That's true. All right.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it right now. In terms of the partnership between Bruce Timm and Paul Dini, Paul Dini was the Bill Finger. Bruce Timm was the Bob Kane. There, I fucking said it. Bob Kane and Bruce Timm would be fucking nothing without Paul Dini and Bill Finger. There, I fucking said it. I don't give a shit when anybody says Bruce
I
Timm
think that's
can
fair.
fucking choke on it.
Oh wow, okay. All right. Well,
Yes, the
let's
summer
move
of
on to
Supergirl that has
Supergirl.
ended.
Dude, they put out another scene. So not only did they release that scene from yesterday that we talked about with Ruthie with her family, which I thought was like that should have been in the movie. They also put out an extended version of a scene. Remember in the movie when Supergirl's on that planet, like doing this like shopping and getting a spacesuit for Ruthie? Apparently in that same scene, they're talking about like what they're gonna do to Krem, or Ruthie keeps saying, "You're not gonna get in my way." Because when Krem comes begging to me, I'm not gonna have mercy. I'm just paraphrasing. I'm not gonna have mercy on him. And she's like, "You know, I'm gonna do it. I'm just telling you, like, you can't stop me. And I'm not gonna let you kill that guy. I'm gonna take the sword away from you. And then I'm gonna let you get some licks in. And then, and then we're gonna call, what's the Vanguard? And just, have them sent to the Phantom Zone." And I was like, wait, you cut that shit out that was in the movie that shot it, only to then go with the I'm just gonna stabby kill him?
My idea for my How to Fix Supergirl was apparently canonical at some point.
It was in the movie.
Although I didn't use Krem in my video. I used a different character. The villain of the movie going to the Phantom Zone. Why? Because it was literally a reference to the original ending for Man of Steel. That was supposed to be the ending. Chris Nolan was like, yeah, he should be sent to the Phantom Zone. Superman shouldn't snap people's necks. And then Zack Snyder and David S. Goyer were like, no, he needs to snap necks, bro. He needs to snap necks. And he's like, okay, it's your fucking movie. I'm sure that won't be controversial at all.
But John, more importantly, that's what happens in the Woman of Tomorrow comic as well. Like, he gets sent to the Phantom Zone and he gets imprisoned there. So I'm like, they shot a version of that scene, like literally an extended cut where they were going to send him to the Phantom Zone. Again, it just goes to show you how much they fucked up this movie. And it just annoys me how close they were to making this that much of a better film. It's just
would it have been great? No, but it would have been more complete.
Small things. There were small things.
Small things. Anyway.
Yeah. Like, God, it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating, like, how close they were and yet how far they went from the mark. It just, again, I feel like they probably are not going to show us all the deleted scenes because it probably gets worse. And then I'm just like, yeah, these are the decisions that this particular, era of DC management has made, and it's just they wasted Lobo. They could have done the Phantom Zone ending.
To be fair, I knew that Lobo wasn't going to be a major part of the movie, so
yeah, again, fix the music, add these things, we get a better movie, a way better movie. I'm like, again, an extra 10-15 minutes of runtime with all this stuff added in would have made this movie a lot better. Not a perfect film, but it would have been a lot better, and I bet you would have made more money as well. Like, it just, it fits in with the theme of the movie too. Fits in with the theme of the movie. It felt so like, I'm like, they never justified the way that the movie ends with killing Krem. It just never felt like it belonged. Like, they never built up to it in a way that made sense either. But anyway, let's keep going. But John, the movie is now streaming, and as you can see here on screen, it did, basically finishes box office run with 125 million. It's not quite completely done because there's still a few straggling theaters that are playing it depending on where you are, but it's for the most part done theatrically, and it finishes with under 125 million or right about there, which is basically what Superman made in its opening weekend a year ago. But good for Supergirl because it's on streaming and it's hitting Fandango, and it's currently sitting number 4 on Fandango's digital charts. And actually, if you scroll down here, one of the people was mentioning he bought it from the Apple store where it's actually number 1. So yeah, and then people are buying it on Blu-ray and stuff. There's quite a few comments here. I don't know what escalated quickly, but somebody mentioned that they bought it on Apple and it was number 1 on the Apple chart. So yeah, cool. But yeah, holy crap, Batman! This movie only made 125 million at the box office, but clearly it has a few fans. Some people in this post said that they loved the film, and one of them said it was their favorite film of the year, which I don't agree with, but sure. All right, well, it's streaming, but this is the best screening they could have ever done for Supergirl, John, because Ruthie showed up to this charity screening for the movie
Eve Ridley
for patients at Eve Ridley, yeah, right. I mean, she plays Ruthie in the movie. So she was at the Medi Cinema screening inside Newcastle's Royal Victoria Infirmary yesterday. And yeah, she came to say hello to a special screening of her new movie where she met with patients, took part in film-themed arts and crafts, and signed film posters. And then if you scroll down there, Diane, Nana of one of the young patients, Millie, said it was brilliant for Millie to meet Eve. She was so down to earth. We got to talk to her and then see her starring in the film straight after. I never thought we'd get that in a hospital. So huge thanks to Evie for taking the time. Oh, sorry, go back up.
Oh,
sorry,
I was just showing some comments.
Well, yeah, for taking the time to visit the Meta Cinema and make the screening even more special. Yeah. We keep talking about Millie Alcock. I hope that Eve Ridley's career prospects don't get
hurt too. It's just like it's just the reason I like kind of went on that diatribe a few weeks ago is because like she's the main actress of the movie, and Eve Ridley didn't get nearly as much hate. She was just kind of there. So that's why it was like, oh, she's getting hate. Like, and the thing is, like the idea of like blaming the actors. Well, people mainly blame the main actor. Eve Ridley didn't get as much hate, didn't get as much like chagrin from the fandom, so that's why I was like kind of more. No offense to Eve Ridley, she did a good job with the weak material. So, I think that I do think that I hope she has good prospects after this as well. I don't know what she has next. I know Millie Alcock has I think 1 or 2 projects after this. I know Millie Alcock is gonna be in a Takashi Miike film with Charlie XCX, which sounds like an interesting premise. I don't like Takashi Miike films though because he's fucking weird. So I might if it's more like restricted Takashi Miike, I might go see it. But like yeah, so that's a cool thing. But yeah, it's actually,
the
comments weren't that bad on the
currently
post, but yeah.
Yeah, Eve really doesn't currently have anything on her schedule. Although she was in a couple episodes of the 3-Body Problem. I remember what she was.
Yeah,
in,
she was like a
one of
younger
the
version of one of the
alien
characters,
planet
right?
Things, yeah. No, she was, yeah, in one of the alien planets, like of the aliens. She was like a representation of like the alien kind of thing. Anyway, so I mean, I don't know. That show is coming back with another season. She was in The Witcher as well for an episode last year. So, but she doesn't currently have anything upcoming.
So she, was alongside Supergirl and Superman.
Yeah. She would be perfect for like the upcoming Disney reboot for the Power Rangers. She could play one of the Power Rangers.
Sure.
I think that'd be great.
I mean, I don't know Power Rangers that much, so yeah.
Well, she could be maybe the pink or the yellow if they're doing like their traditional colors, but yeah. All right.
Even though in the original Super Sentai series, yellow was a dude. That's why pink has a skirt and yellow doesn't.
Yeah, and that's why they've actually there's been versions of Power Rangers where I think there was the Yellow Ranger was a dude, but not like the original, not the Mighty Morphin, but the many other iterations.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's talk about the biggest news to come out of DC today, John, which was that David Jenkins' version of Booster Gold is no longer moving forward, and on a day when Blade said he ain't gonna be back,
Wonder Man, Blade, Booster Gold. But hey, the difference is Marvel has a movie that's about to make fucking $1 billion in one fucking weekend, and about to make another $2 billion movies in like 4 months. So it's just like, yeah. So DC just looks even worse now, so not great.
Well, let's talk about it, right? So David Jenkins went on social media. He went on Threads and he posted this. He said, "My Booster Gold won't be moving forward. Can't improve on Mahershala Ali's lovely statement, so I'll just apply it here as well." He did respond to Mahershala Ali's statement when he put that out earlier with like his quotes about for whatever reason they didn't want to make it. If they wanted to make it, they would have made it at billions of dollars. And clearly David Jenkins feels like, he's kind of in a similar situation, although I don't think that applies because Blade would have been a blockbuster, $100 million+ budgeted movie. Booster Gold would have been an HBO show. I mean, but the question is, are you happy, sad, or confused, John? Because what is next for this Booster Gold? Because remember, there was the Danny McBride team of writers that were going to be working on this originally. They left, and then David Jenkins came on, and he's known for doing a lot of other big stuff. He's done other time travel stuff. Like, people would want him to take over the new iteration of Doctor Who. So they were loving the fact that he was going to do Booster Gold, which has a time travel aspect.
I didn't hear about the Doctor Who stuff, so.
Well, no. I'm just saying fans kind of want him to be like not not that he's involved, but
Like
but
their
it looks like now
their PR team must be
yeah,
on suicide watch, bro, because like
it's
just like
wild.
every terrible thing. It's just like I will say this, like DC's incompetency will be studied for generations to come because they literally can't get out of their own fucking way. Like you
Yeah.
have the plate of all these amazing characters, and I'm not just talking about like Justice League characters, like oh the Trinity, oh this that, but you have this collection of really great, fun characters that you can use. Like again, Marvel literally built this in a cave with a pile of scraps. They literally built this with all the B and C list characters that nobody fucking cared about and made a $1 billion franchise. And DC is just like you literally have all your characters and you're doing nothing. And you're trying, like, don't get me wrong, Superman's great, but it's just like it feels like they just can't win. And that's why I joked earlier because I was like, it feels like they're cursed. Like, and I'm not trying to be melancholy. I'm still hopeful. Like, I still like James Gunn, even though I don't like what he did with Supergirl. That was still a suckish thing to do and really stupid. But like, it just feels like it just like unless they're doing a Batman movie, they're cursed. It's just like that's why I also said like it feels like just nuke it at this point. After Man of Tomorrow, just fucking nuke the thing and just do what you do best. Do Batman movie, 2 to 3 Batman movies every like 10 to 15 years, and you'll just
They used to do that. I mean, that's what they used to do.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying because that's what they were good at. Like they
Superman
will
did
milk
well.
it until it sucks, or until the vision is done, and then move on to the next one. Like that's what they kind of did, and that's what they were kind of good at. So it's just like and it's a shame because like I don't want to hate Batman, but you're making me hate Batman because that's like apparently the only thing you can do at this point. Like don't get me wrong, Batman's a great character, but it's just like we've seen literally every interpretation
But
under
dude,
the fucking
can they even
sun
do that?
at this
Can they
point.
even do that well? Because it's taken them 6 years to give us the sequel to a movie that came
But
out
at
in
least it's
2022.
like, at least they have at least one movie with the Batman. It's just like it feels, it feels so weird that it's just like, again, I feel like, I mean, I joke with like Tim Burton, but like, Batmania was great, but like, that helped. But honestly, I'm gonna tell you the moment it failed. The moment it failed, and I don't mean this against the movie because I know Dan is probably gonna get mad. I don't mean this against the movie. I think the branch off point of like DC kind of being in its like cursed state right now is when Justice League Mortal could not get off the ground and The Dark Knight was a success. I'm not saying it's a bad thing The Dark Knight was a success, but that was the like clue in for DC. It's like, oh, we should just stick with Batman from now on. We should only stick with Batman. And the only reason they did the cinematic universe thing they attempted with Green Lantern and then just kind of went with Man of Steel was because Marvel did it. I think if maybe The Dark Knight wasn't as successful as it was, maybe not $1 billion, but still successful, great movie, but not as successful, and the writer's strike didn't happen and the Australian Film Committee didn't fuck over the production, we would be in a better state. DC would be in a better state than they are right now. I think that's the thing that majorly like kind of cursed DC because maybe Justice League Mortal, whether it was good, whether it was not, I don't know, but I feel like that was their most ambitious project. They had like a lot of great things backing it, but the fact that that movie failed and then they just kind of continued with the Batman thing is the reason why I think DC is in its state now. Because if fucking DC got the cinematic universe thing off the ground in 2009 when the movie was supposed to come out, we would not be where we are today. Like there would be like Marvel and like DC would be like going back and forth, and like both would be big successes. Like Marvel does this, but then DC does that. DC does this, does this, does this. Oh, but then Marvel does this, and then we could have had like a really great, healthy competition between the two, instead of like Marvel just burying DC at every turn and DC just like not putting up a fight at all. So that's what I think. I think the big branch off point, the thing that you can point to that caused all this to go the way it has, was the failure of Justice League Mortal. I think that's what we and the power of the Dark Knight. And I'm not saying I hate the Dark Knight or I regret that it's a bad thing that it was successful. I'm not saying that at all. So Dan, don't put the sniper on my fucking forehead or anything. I'm just saying those two big things I think are the big reason why DC is in a bad place right now. So,
well, okay, so I mean, obviously, look, here's the thing. A, I think that's an overreaction. B, I disagree with you because you're thinking of it from the perspective of like the butterfly effect, or like, you know, like what is like the moving sliding doors effect. Like it's just that is what you're saying makes a lot of assumptions, and it makes the assumption that the DC leadership has not changed since that era. It also goes completely counter to the fact that not only did they try to do the DCEU, which wasn't just to catch up to Marvel, but it was also because they were like, we have all this IP. Not to mention David Zaslav, when he came in the current, you know, iteration of DC Studios, like which didn't exist before, James Gunn and Peter Safran came in with the idea to do absolutely everything seemingly other than just the usual suspects. Like the DC Batman is the one project we don't know when is gonna come out, and yes, I think we're also prisoners of the moment, because like we just spent like the first couple of hours of the show talking about how Blade never worked out and Marvel, you know, couldn't figure it out, and Mahershala Ali clearly not happy about that and has moved on. We talked about how, of course, Wonder Man got renewed and then canceled for a season 2, one of the best things they've done in some time. Marvel also has been going through it. Like last year, Superman was the highest grossing movie of the year, the first time that's happened for a DC movie to be, you know, higher grossing than every Marvel movie in the year since The Dark Knight in 2008. Now, that is a long time to play second fiddle to Marvel, but clearly
I will say this. Side
DC
note,
went through
Caleb,
a huge period.
the biggest Zack
ups and downs.
Snyder hater I know loves Absolute Batman. So just keep that in mind. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue, Dan.
But like what I was saying is like ultimately you got to remember, like, we are reacting to what's going on in the here and the now. Like this time last year, the tone was completely different. And I think even last year we were like, next year is going to be Marvel's year. I think what's problematic right now, though, John, is if we go back to this news particularly, is we're seeing a pattern here, but a pattern that on the surface seems problematic, because it was, I believe, last year, June or July 2025, that David Jenkins was first attached to this project. He was going to be the second person attached to this project, because once the Danny McBride team left, which obviously now they're doing the G.I. Joe thing, which is Danny McBride is going to direct that movie. He's writing that movie. Good for him. He's over at Paramount. But David Jenkins came in, we were really happy. And then earlier this year in April, James Gunn last updated us saying he's happy that David Jenkins is working on this. And he said Paradise Lost is in extreme development, countering and debunking reports that Paradise Lost was canceled without officially announcing it. Now, we have no idea where that Waller show is, what's going on with that. And we have no idea how far along Paradise Lost is. We don't know what the latest update on the Batman, DCU Batman script is, what's going on with Wonder Woman, if Teen Titans is still a thing. The problem is, I feel like DC is so in such a different position and so seemingly so far behind Marvel, because Marvel Studios is about to go into a whole new generation era of the MCU, with the X-Men and Fantastic Four at the core, and the Avengers still there, but not, you know, the, you know, biggest team on the block. So Marvel has gone through evolutions. Meanwhile, DC has had to do a full reboot. And the problem becomes, again, at a certain level, I feel like the DCU would be moving quicker if James Gunn wasn't off directing Man of Tomorrow, but he was like saying, okay, XYZ director is taking on Man of Tomorrow. I wrote it. I'm a part of the process. But right now I'm focusing on getting the DCU Batman script ready so we can get that in production soon. I'm working with the Wonder Woman script with Ana Naguera. I'm working with Christina Hodson on the Batman script. I'm making sure Teen Titans is also coming along well. I'm, you know, trying to figure out what to do with Swamp Thing. These are all things. I'm not saying that Peter Safran can't do them without James Gunn, but the fact that James Gunn is like the creative shepherd, like he is the man signing off on the scripts before they say it's done for the director to start working on, means that while James Gunn directs a movie, Man of Tomorrow or otherwise, all of that other work not just grinds to a halt, but practically does, because I'm sure he's still making an effort to work on those projects concurrently. But the problem becomes when you're directing a movie, certainly of that scale, there's going to be entire periods of time, weeks, where you will not be able to pay any attention to those other things. And then when you are, you're still partly distracted because you're taking your mindset away from this movie that's occupying 24/7 your mind to focus on a script that you looked at a few weeks ago. It just doesn't work well. So this is where I'm like, James Gunn needs to realize, to his detriment and to the detriment of DC and DC Studios, that you cannot keep making a movie every other year. If you just want to direct movies, you got to bring in somebody else to become that creative lead. Because if Kevin Feige was directing a movie every other year in the MCU, then we would see a lot more of what happened in the multiverse saga when he had too much going on and he couldn't pay attention to every project, and we saw the quality decline.
I think Man of Tomorrow should be James Gunn's like last movie for a while.
Yeah, like for 3, 4, 5 years. Like, let this other stuff happen and then jump in, because it's not like I don't want to see James Gunn DC movies. I just think when you direct a movie, it takes you away from doing those other things that you need to be able to focus on, because you can't have your head on a swivel. You're just focused on the one movie because it takes up all of your days. And that's fair. Like, he makes great movies, but I'm like, if you want to be his co-CEO and if you want to be the creative lead, then you can't do both, unfortunately. We're seeing it in action. Now, that all being said, we're still in like year 2 of the new DCU. And the good news for the Booster Gold series is, John, the Wrap later reported on this, Humberto Gonzalez, Casey Loving, who do a good job at reporting stuff. They mentioned that the Booster Gold series is not done. It's not like they called it a day, because basically David Jenkins was meant to be writing, a new pilot episode, and then HBO was going to consider it and either, move forward with the pilot with him as the showrunner or not. Now, we have talked about before, like, HBO has a high standard. They passed on the GCPD show. They passed on a bunch of other stuff. But, Lanterns eventually got made and the Penguin came out. So it just happens to be this is happening in the public eye. But basically the Wrap reported that Booster Gold isn't canceled. It's still going to move forward. It's going to get revamped with a new creative team at DC. And there's no actor that's been cast for the role of Booster Gold either way. So whether it was this iteration, the previous one, or the next one, they don't currently have a casting.
Yeah,
so
I mean, the Kumail Nanjiani stuff was never...
rumors.
That was only rumors. That was never concrete at all.
Yeah, it does look like they're going to continue on this. And of course, like I said, Paradise Lost apparently still is in extreme development. So go figure. Yeah. It's disappointing because it means another fresh start, because you got to bring in somebody who's got a vision. Either you got to find them or you got to go back and look at the other pitches you got before and be like, let's try.
Well, the thing is, we're not benching Gunn in terms of his duties as a producer. We're benching him as a fucking director, because clearly, yes, I understand he wants to do these stuff, but like, work as a producer. We want him as a producer, like on the creative side of like all these projects, and be the man behind the scenes, not the guy at the forefront that's making the only good movies. At that point, fire him as the producer, keep him on as a director, and get somebody else to be the creative side, if that's what you mean. Yeah, okay, so yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, either you can't do both. Like, I know James Gunn thinks he can do both. He only gets an hour of sleep every night. He even said that. But like, I think not at good. This point,
coming from me, not good. It's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable. But he said it's sustainable for him. But it's one of two things needs to happen after Man of Tomorrow. There's so much going on with the WB right now. Let's say in a positive world. Let's go with John's multiverse time, like a good future of this timeline. Paramount deal doesn't go through. We don't have to deal with the chode with lips. David Zaslav is still on the ship. He's still the captain, which is kind of unfortunate, but because he's kind of an asshole, but that's what we have. Paramount's gone. They took the L, whatever. We're still on this track where it's 2027. Man of Tomorrow. Let's say it does fucking superbly well. $1 billion movie, maybe close to it. 800 to 900 to $1 billion. Where are we at right now? It is 2027. It is after Man of Tomorrow has made $1 billion. Where do we go from here? I would say, if I was Zaslav, if I was in the shoes of douchebag, rich billionaire boy who's trying to flip this, like, you know, our boy flips tables, I would say, be like, hey, James, you answer to me. I'm gonna say this: stop fucking directing. Okay, you can either stop directing movies and do your job that I fucking hired you to do, or keep directing, give your job to somebody else, because it's clear that you can't fucking do both. That's what I would do. Like, if like the Paramount deal doesn't go through, Man of Tomorrow is a huge hit. Like, okay, I see this writing's on the wall. I would say if Man of Tomorrow isn't a huge hit, I mean, the DCU would probably be dead at that point. But let's say they're like, okay, James, this wasn't a hit. You need to keep producing. You can't direct anymore. However, if Man of Tomorrow is a hit, I would say keep directing your Superman movies, but stop at the producer side. I'm going to hire somebody else. You're fired on that aspect. Because I feel like those are the only two wings. And I think what I would prefer is to have James Gunn directing, have somebody else, a creative who can kind of sort of produce, and have him write the ship. I would say a really good one, the first one that comes to the top of my head, someone like Sam Raimi. Now, I'm not just saying that as like, oh, I'm an evil deaf. I'm just saying because Sam Raimi's produced a lot of stuff because he literally took a break from directing to produce shit. And now he's kind of sort of directing stuff. He's interested in DC stuff. I would say I think he would be comfortable with maybe staying a producer. Yeah, would I love to see more directorial Sam Raimi's projects? Absolutely. But it would be awesome if, like, James Gunn, he's like, okay, James Gunn, you get to direct stuff. We're going to bring in Sam Raimi to, like, help write the ship. He's a comic book fan. He's directed, like, one of the best superhero trilogies of all time and, you know, made the MCU $800 million. We're going to do that now. So, or somebody else. I don't fucking know who. Get a Kevin Feige for DC. Whoever that is, whatever it is, I think that would be a very good scenario if Man of Tomorrow is a success. If it's a mid-tier success or not a huge success, either one, the DCU ends, or two, they're like, James Gunn, stop. You're going full in on producing. You're not directing more shit. That's what I would see. I'm just saying, like, if I was in Zaslav's shoes, I don't know if people would agree with that. That's how I would write the ship of all this. But that's like best case scenario. So,
I mean, look, here's the thing. Sam Raimi has already mentioned he would love to do a Batman movie, so I think it could fit in well. But I mean, they do have a director attached there, so until Andy decides not to do it, I think what M2G is saying is a good point. That maybe what they need is not necessarily for James Gunn to stop directing movies. Maybe what they need is to bring in another strong creative who can work close with Peter Safran, who's more of a producer's producer who gets the job done, knows a lot about physical production. And while he is able to tap into the creative side of things, he's not really James Gunn at that. Like, he doesn't have the deep knowledge. Lord and Miller would be great at that. You can think of other people.
Well, I would want someone who is at the very least knowledgeable of this stuff, because remember, Avi Arad said this when fucking Kevin Feige was a junior executive on the X-Men movies, where he's like, this guy's a fucking Marvel encyclopedia. Like, Kevin Feige, say what you will, maybe you don't like the guy, maybe you like the guy, we've made a lot of jokes at him, but the thing is, he fucking made $1 billion industry out of fucking nothing. So, and the thing is, he's a big shot producer, but at the end of the day, whether you think so or not, he is a comic book fan. He loves Marvel Comics. He is a fan. He knows how to do this, but he also has the logistical knowledge on what to do, what would work, what would not work. Yeah, he's made a lot of mistakes, but at the end of the day, the MCU is still chugging. Meanwhile, the DCU is already faltered, and we're only 2 movies in. 4 projects, I mean, if we include Creature Commandos and Peacemaker season 2. So, you know, that's like you gotta have someone who's like Peter Safran, is the good at the producing side. You gotta have a good creative, and you gotta have a producer as close to Kevin Feige as you can. Whoever that is, I don't know, but You need to
Yeah,
find
and look,
somebody.
it's not like we're not just talking about Eric like his one movie. It's not just super.
No,
I think
we're just
talking
talking about the
his other
future.
things
That's
that
all.
are
I'm not
gonna happen.
saying,
Yeah,
oh, the DCU's
but
doomed. It's gonna suck. Da, da, da. It's
yeah,
just we're just talking. We're just talking
it's also,
hypotheticals. That's it.
but also like I think like Lord and Miller may be too high profile of people to bring in at this. I think like M2G is making a good point. If we're gonna sustain this, effort of James Gunn and Peter Safran are in charge, they're doing what they're doing now, where James Gunn still gets to direct movies, and that's what he wants to do, and why shouldn't he be able to do it? I think like what Kevin Feige has, like he has got Louis D'Esposito. He's been with him for the longest time. He's also somebody who knows a lot about the genre and about how to, make these movies work and these TV shows. And then now he's got Brad Winderbaum on the TV side. I think they need another like creative producer, director kind of a personality who's maybe not coming from the high profile that Lord and Miller now have, but maybe you bring in somebody like a Kevin Feige would have been 20 odd years ago. So you have that person who's there to sort of fill the gaps, because then I'm not saying like the DCU is dead. I far from it. I just think that they've hit a rough patch, but this rough patch is also bringing to surface a lot of issues that seem to, like, some things that have been there before that we thought had gone away, like what happened with Supergirl. But that being only one movie, you can say, okay, maybe that is just the one movie. But also there's other issues that it highlights, things like we've talked about. Like if you're directing a movie, you can't focus on developing other movies that you as a producer are also working on with script writers, because you're not letting the directors work with those writers. You're the one who's doing passes on the script and providing notes. So when you start, leave to work on a movie for the next year or so of your life, no matter how little you sleep or how much you can do, I mean, you can't keep sleeping 1 hour a night and have that be sustainable. I think James Gunn is going to hit a wall if he hasn't already a few times, and that's not good either, right? And then it just leads to like the quality being diluted, and also even if the quality is there, it slows things down. It slows things down. I'm like, look, they wanted to do 2 movies and 2 TV shows a year. Next year was going to be 2 movies and 2 TV shows. Now it's 1 movie and we don't know the number of TV shows, and maybe it is 2 still or whatever. The year after, the 2028, you got the Batman Part 2 and you have Dynamic Duo. Neither of those are DCU movies. So on the cinematic front, there won't be any movie in 2028 that advances the DCU story. And we don't know what TV shows are going to be dated. And I understand that they don't really give us a lot of advance notice on the release dates at this point, so that they can have some flexibility. But I think if you want to bring the fans along, keep them interested in your shared cinematic universe, you want to give them something to work with, right? Hello, Jalen. And I feel like for all the faults that Disney has, on some level, Marvel being able to stick with the dates that they announced. Now, in recent years, that's not been the case, which is why they stopped announcing the slates, because they've had to move dates for all kinds of reasons that are out of their control, like the VFX pipeline backlog from the Hollywood strikes to COVID-19 to like multiple other reasons. So like Avengers Doomsday got moved twice, and other movies that moved around. Blade kept changing dates before it finally got taken off the schedule. So Marvel is also sort of reevaluating how they go about this. But I think like you're asking a lot of the fans to keep interested and follow along with the stories. But I'm like, Peacemaker, when they next bring him back into anything, if it's been 4 or 5 years and the last time we saw him was in a TV show on HBO Max that not nearly as many people have watched as the movies, like most people would remember the last time I saw Peacemaker was in Superman with the little cameo that he did. And then it becomes like, if you're going to continue with these characters, it becomes harder to follow the story if they don't quite fit together, or like you have to remember, oh, their movie came out 5 years ago. And I know James Gunn is prioritizing not making everything so that all these projects require homework from previous movies and shows. But I just feel like right now they're in a bit of a rough spot, and it highlights and brings to the surface a few issues that maybe we weren't paying attention to before, or maybe we thought they wouldn't have. But in actuality, in practicality, James Gunn directing a movie while also got cat fur on my face, but also working on 3 other scripts with writers is a lot to ask of one man. And I know like when he was doing the writing himself on like 3 things to launch the DCU with Creature Commandos, Superman, Peacemaker, that almost drove him into the ground. So again, for him, it's not sustainable. Like, did you see the bags behind James Gunn's eyes at the Supergirl premiere? Have you seen the photos making the rounds on the internet, John? It's like, James Gunn is a tired dude. And I've seen plenty of actors and directors go through that, but I'm like, he's got the weight of an entire cinematic universe and a Hollywood, big movie studio on his back. And while Peter Safran is there to share the burden. I just think it's a lot for one man to be like the creative head, then also be directing movies, because directing movies is a full-time job, and then you can't really do a full-time job of being a co-CEO at the same time. It's a lot to ask for. So I just hope that in the future maybe they can space things out a bit more. Like James gonna take a 2-year break. Like Nolan right now is gonna take a 2-year break after pumping out 2 huge movies in the last few years. And you spend that time, you do your day job as the co-CEO of DC Studios, then you figure out the next thing you want to direct, and then you go direct it. And then you use those 2 years to set up the DCU for the success for the few years where you're going to be focused on your next movie. And that's, I hope, where they go with it. But like you said, John, at the end of the day, Warner Brothers as a company is in such turmoil because we don't know if that merger is going to go through and what happens after it with the new ownership coming in, or even if that doesn't happen, what happens with the studio. Like, are they going to try to sell off, to other companies? Are they going to continue as its own thing? Will James Gunn and Peter Safran have their contracts renewed? These are big picture topics. We're talking about Booster Gold. TV shows being redeveloped and pilots not being picked up is nothing new. I just feel like, it's one thing is once, it's just DC has had a few high profile, misses recently that are frustrating from the fans' perspective. So we'll leave that there for now. But I mean, Booster Gold is still in the works, being redeveloped. We don't know who's going to be next to come and pick up the baton. They don't have an actor, but according to the WAP, it's not done yet. They're going to redevelop it. Now, redevelopment could mean that, like Sergeant Rock, which they said they're going to resume working on this summer. That seems to have not happened, at least not of anything we have heard of. But so all we know, it might be happening behind the scenes, or it could be like Waller, which is missing in action. But my sincere hope is that Booster Gold, we do hear that somebody else has come on board and their pilot got picked up, because I would like to see this show. Booster Gold is the epitome of the kind of character that the old regimes at DC would not have given us. So I hope that this regime at DC does give us that character. Now, with that in mind, let's move on to the next thing. We got to talk about the Lanterns. This is our main event, final topic of the night in DCU Daily before we move on to Fancast Friday. Now, I did see today that they put out a new TV ad spot. John, I don't know if you saw this. Let's see if you can put it up on screen. I thought this was fantastic. It's like a 30-second ad spot. It's not like a trailer, but it shows us some of the same footage we've seen before, but it again highlights a lot of like the story between the two Lanterns, and it gives us a bit of a better idea of like what the villains are, and then it shows us a lot more action with the Lanterns and constructs and everything. I enjoyed this trailer, John. What did you think about this? Like this ad spot?
I thought it was, it was a good, just fine. Like, again, I'm still not excited for the show. No matter what they pull, I'm not gonna be excited for the show until like the show is here and it's showing me good content. I'm not gonna be excited for it until then. But it's just like, yeah, perfectly fine trailer,
Yeah, do you want to skip across it for a bit? Because I thought there was some good action in there, especially with like Hal Jordan flying. The flying sequences, they seem to have finished the VFX on.
Although I do love in this shot, they literally do the Peter on the floor pose with his arm behind his back. They literally do the pose from Family Guy. And I'm like, bro, really?
Well, if you get shot, then I guess.
Yeah, I will say the shot looks cool. But... Like, oh my god, cosmic stuff in a Green Lantern show. That's crazy, bro. But
I love. I mean, this is where the things changed for me when this kid was in the previous trailer. I was like, okay, I can't wait for this. Now this is looking like a Lantern show.
Yeah, we got the construct here. We've seen that before.
Yeah, the red and the green. Wow, that's a laser explosion. Okay, so that's clearly like something from the.
And then we have that.
Go back for a second.
You could see
go
it
back
here.
For a second. Hold on, John. Go back to the previous. Go back to the ad spot, because like I love the flying. Like, but the battery. There's a shot with the Lantern's battery. Go back to that. Does that change to like yellow for a second? Is that like an artifact of the color grade, or is that hinting at?
Well,
something?
it's just like it goes from green to maybe it's like. Maybe it's like, oh, it's showing it's depleted, like it's charging, and it's like charges the ring. It goes from green to white to show that, like, oh, it's charged.
Okay.
If I were to take a guess, but it looks more white.
I was like, that looks interesting. Okay.
Looks more white.
So I kind of see a little bit of yellow. I don't know about you, but
I can see it too, like at the bottom and but I think that's because of the gold around it. That might be that.
It's probably an impact frame. Like it's probably something to do with how this was rendered or whatever. But anyway.
Yeah.
Or maybe,
You
like,
could
something
even show
misaligned
like
with the
some of his hand is like
color grade.
like gray for some reason. So.
Grayish yellow, whatever that's going on. Okay, but yeah, the flying sequence again. This looks better than the first trailer. Clearly, they've worked on this and improved it, and it looks like the VFX are finished. But whatever threat this is, John, is attacking from orbit. So it looks like he will fly into space. Like
got those god awful Bono glasses. Jesus Christ!
I don't understand what that is. I hope like that's not like. I hope they give him like the usual costume things, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, cool shot over here, dark and all that.
Again, more
I don't know what the fuck this is supposed to be.
Goatee
Kind of
look.
looks like the Guardians a little bit because this looks like it's in like an alien type thing.
Maybe, yeah. I love this is the 2026 version of Aaron Pierre, of course, with the goatee. Looks banger. I love this guy with the goatee. I'm very inspired to try the goatee. Last time I was gonna do that was when Iron Man was out, and I'm like, I don't know if I can pull it off, but I'm like, maybe I can. Maybe the aura farming will be amazing. Also, that part where he's like doing the shockwave bit to stop the truck, that looked nice. I mean, the way he's again, I think they're gonna do a good job with this, and there's plenty of green as we can tell. Yeah, I like it. Two weeks to go, John.
Wait, is this supposed to be him too up here? Did it like jump and then he's way farther now? Is that also?
Yeah, it's meant to. It's like so they could do a stitch between the real actor and the CGI shot double. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, 2 long ass weeks. We'll be here for two of those long ass weeks, but I'm sure when the show is here, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Now, John, of course, one of your favorite, insiders gave us their endorsement.
Yeah, we're cooked, bro. We're fucking cooked. If Grace Randolph says it's good, we are fucking cooked. We are so beyond
extraordinarily
cooked.
Good.
We are so beyond cooked. Jesus Christ. If the biggest James Gunn hater on the internet says it's good, we are so beyond fucking cooked. We're done. It's out. We're out of here. We're done. Lanterns is gonna really fucking blow chunks now. Oh no!
She said it's an extraordinarily good show, it is an extraordinary good show. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Grace Randolph has a lot of critics. It seems like they've been sent the first 4 episodes, so they don't know what happens in the back half of the season. So episodes 1 to 4 might be extraordinary. I mean, if that means that the rest of the show is going to be as good, but look, I know that she peddles a lot of bullshit. Grace Randolph does, but if she has seen the episodes, then sure, I'll take the positivity. Obviously, she also talked about Wonder Man on her show and all the Spider-Man Avengers thing, but yeah, I'm sure that made you feel better, right, John? Grace Randolph thinks that Lanterns is an extraordinary good show.
Cool.
So, Jalen and Caleb are...
Yeah, the same person who like called fucking Mr. Terrific too urban or whatever the fuck she said, just being like,
like living in the past, racist comment.
Yeah, not great. But you know what else isn't great? The fact it's at the end of DCU Daily. We got through it, guys. We did it, Reddit. But now we move on to Fancast Friday, which will be 10 fucking minutes because I want to go to bed. But we got to get through it. We're not going to delay it like we did Dealers Tuesday. We're doing it. We're getting it over with. Damson, Idris in the DCU. We're here.
Idris. Yeah.
Yeah, the Black Power haircut. That's what it was. Fucking Jesus Christ. But yeah, we're here. We're queer. Get used to it. But let's be blessed, even though the future ain't looking blessed. Let's put on our blue lantern rings and be hopeful that the future is blessed.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go. Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you really I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all in the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka!
Showrunner.
And remember, fuck David Ellison, Jeff Snyder, and Tom